Hello, everybody. We're about to hop into our second, and I don't think I've ever said this, second and final adventure of the evening. And well, we have a legend tier adventure here. But before we hop into things, I think we will take a moment and introduce our heroes here. So without further ado, uh, Anadoltia, how are you tonight?
I'm doing. Wait, I
On.
am doing just fine.
I'm glad to hear that. Have so you've obviously been discussing with Michael the nature of your mission today. Have you guys been doing a lot of strategizing?
Doing my best. I mean, as one who used to live as a bit of a street rat, I mean, like had him like kind of lay out the city, and I just helped him like kind of plan routes and other, plan B's and C's for the routes as well.
I hope that you're able to find success today, and I wish you the best of luck, Anadolcia.
Thank you.
Lance, how are you today?
How are you?
I'm doing well as well. I know you guys don't usually hear from me here, but I thought I'd just check in and see how you all are doing in Legend here. Are you ready for whatever kind of trials await you as you attempt to reclaim Michael's home?
The reclamation of our key of the endeavors we've begun. I do hope we're prepared for it.
Me as well. Sword, do you think that you're ready?
I'm never ready, but he's always seen them pull through.
And have you also been in on kind of some of the strategy meetings alongside of your comrades here?
I have, but I don't know if we've got anything set in stone.
Well,
kind of walking in blind here.
Yes. Well, for the man of the hour, Michael Verity. Michael, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful as I could be in this time.
This is, I imagine, both an exciting and an imposing day for you as you go to see what fate has befallen your home. Michael, Roger has informed you. Well, he hasn't been able to give you a lot of details on what's been happening in Miradara. He used his kind of, his scrying technology and all of the resources that were available to him to try and just get a read and to look at what's happening down in the small kingdoms around your city. But the only thing he was able to tell you is that there is some very powerful magic that has influenced the entire space. The whole region, the kingdom of Miradara itself, is under the influence of a very powerful spell. And it kind of was making it impossible for him to actually look at and see what's happening there. The only recourse that you've been given, of course, you, Michael Verity, this is your home kingdom, and the person who knows the streets of Miradara, who knows where to go, who knows where power lies in that city, is, of course, you. So he just sent you, along with 3 of your compatriots, into a teleportation circle, the nearest one he could find outside of the small kingdoms, and the 4 of you now find yourself on the grounds of the lands of DnDTime. You've made something of a campsite, and right now, Michael, you haven't approached it yet, but you're about 20 minutes outside the town west of Miradara proper, the actual capital city. You find yourself now about 20 minutes outside of Gurn. Gurn, of course, being a town populated entirely by orcs, which you befriended and allied yourself with in your adventures throughout the lands of DnDTime. This, you had mentioned, you wanted to be your staging point, from which you will try and take back your home, your city. So the 4 of you find yourself in the woods, and Michael, you have pinpointed the location. It's west of the actual capital of Miradara, from which you would be able to kind of make the rest of the trek to the capital pretty easily. There's a well-paved road that leads from Gurn to the city proper. And where our adventure begins, the four of you are just sitting in the woods. You've erected, like I said, a campsite. I imagine there's just something of a fire that you've put together, and you guys are discussing how you're going to approach the town and then ultimately Michael's home city. What are the four of you doing as we come into this adventure?
Anadoltia is pretty much taking the role of lookout, just like taking a small patrol around the campsite. Since she doesn't need sleep, and at the same time, she can probably see quite a bit further than everyone else into the dark.
Okay. Anadoltia, you are, walking kind of back and forth, keeping a perimeter, checking to make sure that none of the evils that now lurk in the lands of DnDTime grow close, and the place that you've chosen to camp down seems fairly secure. You're somewhat confident in that right now.
Well, what I'm doing is I'm currently looking over a map that I have managed to gather up of my capital city, which I intend to use for when we get to the capital to plan my attack.
And as you're kind of poring over this map, you had, of course, you had mentioned previously, and I imagine sword and lance. Are you guys also kind of like examining the battle map alongside of Michael here, the map of Miradara?
Indeed, though mostly listening to his battle plan and doing our equipment, mending where we need mending, make sure we're at top.
Yeah, absolutely. You sharpening swords, making sure everything is primed for. Again, Roger was a little bit regretting having to send you out without any information to really give you other than what's in Michael's head. But as Michael's kind of pointing out on the battle map, you can see kind of the western road. There's a long gate that leads to the center. And Michael, do you kind of tell them what some more of your plans for?
Yes. So, first order of business, we must deal with Gurn first. Gurn is the one thing standing between us and the capital. And not only that, but we can't go into that city alone. Knowing my own city, it is probably heavily guarded as it always is. So we probably need an army. That is where Gurn comes into play. We need to rally up the orcs here. They know who I am. And if I can rally them up, then we can march onto the capital. And then I start pointing to the map. And then as we get to the center, I will use some magic in some way to stir some civil unrest within the city, and that'll get even more people on our side. And by that point, we should have clear access to whoever's running my kingdom poorly. Any other questions?
No.
How are we going to rally?
Well, if it is under control of the enemy, I would suspect we'd have to show them lead by example and dispatch them proper. Otherwise, I may be able to give a good speech to rally them up. Either way, that is the plan.
Will we be rolling in, behold the king, long live the king, to see the situation and maybe get with one of your men as a contact?
I would say a little bit of both.
Okay.
Because while we do need an army, even then we can't besiege the entire town with just one smaller town. That is why I simply need a way into the city. Once I get into the city, I can handle the rest from there.
drill the army outside of the city with the one town, and if we can
Yep.
get inside, rile up the unrest, we can catch them in a pincer attack.
Yeah, we catch them in a pincer attack, and either we either lure whoever's ruling my city from the castle out into the open, which then we dispatch, or we use the unrest as a means of distraction to quickly get to the castle, which is north, the northmost part of the city.
If the plan is to rally Gurren to begin building the, could we not, once gathered, send it out on the plains of battle against, and then with us and perhaps sneak into the city to begin causing the unrest with none of the tragedy anymore?
That is, you make a very good point. I do like that idea. Perhaps that can be utilized to our advantage. Because all it takes is me and a group of people to get into that city, and all hell will break loose.
In that case, as your kind of discussion of strategy comes to a close, you've been kind of camped outside of the, like I said, camped outside of Gurn for a couple hours as you strategize. You go over the finer points of the map, and you're kind of pointing out the various locations and the best access routes to reach different places in the city, Michael. But after you've kind of have, put yourselves together, kind of formulated this plan, is there anything, last things you would like to do before you begin approaching Gurn? Or are you guys all ready to set out? And in that case, it sounds like all of you are ready to go.
Indeed.
In that case, the four of you begin working your way through the woods that you're kind of stationed in over to Gurn. Gurn's more out in the open. You can see that the city was constructed. It does not have necessarily the same grandeur of Miradara proper. As you kind of reach the outskirts of the woods and you can see the town in the distance, you can see the wooden palisades that were erected around it, kind of wrapping around a fairly humble but peaceful town that has kind of taken up under the umbrella of the Miradara kingdom. You grow closer, and the thing that is kind of shocking you the most, Michael, as soon as you kind of see Gurn for the first time, is it is quiet. And other than that quiet, because Gurn was always a very rowdy town, full of life, laughter, it is also almost completely the same. You see no damage to any of the palisades. You don't see any carts or anything going down the road, but Gurn looks almost completely untouched, other than just that sort of eerie quiet.
Can I see any people from here?
Go ahead and make me a perception check. Right now you're in the distance. You haven't approached anything like the gate yet, but
okay, will do. Let's see.
13. With a 13, like I said, there's a wooden wall that surrounds most of Gurn to kind of protect it a bit here. But on either side of where you know the main gate to be, there are kind of turrets, and you can see what appear to be silhouettes in the turrets. You can't make out what they look like from here. You're not sure if they are, you're not sure if they are friend or foe. But there are two people standing on either side. If you want to try and get closer, you can try and do so. I mean, you can also just walk up if you would like, but if you want to try and move closer stealthily,
are the other three with me? Because I believe I wouldn't want them to be with me if we walk up to them.
I assume at this point everyone's together, correct?
Yeah, I would like to ask, how far are we from the walls?
Currently, I kind of am imagining right now you guys are maybe kind of looking at this over a hill, and you're maybe 500 or 600 feet away from the walls, not actually there yet.
Oh, okay.
Just kind of taking a stealthy approach before you're actually getting into the outside of the gates.
Anadoltia will like look to like Michael and like ask if he'll grant her permission to pretty much like sneak down there and just take a look, then come back.
Permission granted.
All right, so Anadoltia will use the 7th Magi and cast a bit invisibility on herself.
Excellent. Anadoltia vanishes, and
yeah, she just moves down there, so to like take a look, like kind of like look up at the church, see like what kind of figures are in there.
Go ahead and make me a stealth check with advantage.
All right, 1 second.
Wow, closer. I'll have a fairly high up to get a bird's eye view of the...
Okay. Yeah, Anadoltia, you begin kind of walking your way, I imagine, pretty casually, as of course you are invisible right now. So you begin walking your way closer to the gate, just avoiding stepping on any sticks or anything that would completely give you away. And as you approach, you can see on either side of the gate, in the towers, there are orc figures standing, very rigid and at attention, that are just looking out into the distance, looking, just kind of like gazing perfectly forward into the distance. They do not react in any way to your approach. But yeah, it appears to be orcs, and from what Michael has told you, that is what that is the entire citizenry of Gurn is made up of orcs.
Okay, you said these turrets are like above like a gate or something?
Yep.
Is the gate closed at the moment?
The gate is currently closed, yes. You can see that they have something of a pulley system. That the guard on the right, it's behind them, and it looks like there's like a crank pulley to open the gate.
Okay. All right, so yeah, after like looking at that and all that, Anadoltia will come back and like just like as soon as she reaches back to everyone else, she drops the invisibility.
Okay, Anadoltia, you kind of give a report back. What do you tell everyone?
I'm pretty much telling like in each of the churches are a orc that just seems to be just like very focused on their task, and like at the gates, which are closed, it does seem like they have a bit of a, like a little a draw gate, or whatever we'll call it, like a gate that just requires a hand crank or something to open and close.
And Michael, this all sounds very normal to you. This is the kind of vigilance that is taught in the armies of your kingdom, to, the order that you impose that keeps your soldiers very well regimented, and it looks like, I mean, at least from that description, it seems like Gurn's in okay shape.
Well, in that case, I do wish to approach the gate in a non-stealthy manner, but before I do so, I use my shield's charm of unparalleled fabulosity to give myself a more casual-looking appearance, so as to not throw anyone off. Because as far as they know, the old king has been gone for a very long time.
Yes.
And I don't wish to give them an immediate shock.
You draw closer, and you get ready to approach the gate. And as you walk up, you can also see these two. As you walk up, you can also see these two orcs kind of standing up in the tower. Lance, you have Ronnie that's kind of doing an aerial kind of scouting mission, right?
Yep.
As you're looking from above, you can see that the city beyond is dotted with people. Most of them are just kind of, or really all of them, you can see, are just kind of like standing about at the moment. And there are people within the walls of the city, though. Michael, you approach the gate, and the two orcs that are looking out into the distance, Neither of them react. They don't look at you. They just are fixated looking forward.
I try to get their attention and say, "Hello? Anyone there?"
There's no response. They gaze fixedly forward.
I don't like the looks of this.
Everyone in the city isn't moving, they're all just standing.
I wave my hand in front of one of the guards' faces to see if I get any.
They're a little bit raised above you right now. They're kind of up on the towers on either side of the palisades, raised maybe like 15 feet up. That's about the height of the wall. But you're on the ground, just kind of waving, shouting. They continue to just gaze fixedly forward.
Anadoltia wants to try something. She looks at one of the guards, or just like at one of the guards, and cast detect magic on them. See if there's anything on them.
When you cast detect magic, you don't detect magic coming just from the guards. The air around you is suffused with some of the most powerful transmutation magic that you've ever experienced. It's overwhelming, just coming from all sides around you. You're standing in it and walking through it.
Okay, I'll let everyone know. It says, like, guys, we have a bunch of, let's just say, transmutation shenanigans going on here. And then she, if possible, she'll cast a spell magic, at least on the guards. Well, actually, let me check something. All right, the guys in the turrets, as well as the guards at the front gate, how far are they apart from one another?
They are about the length of the gate, so they'd be about 15 feet away from each other.
Okay, so... Alright, so yeah, Anadoltia will use the Step of the Magi. And, well, she's going to start with just one of the guards at the gate. And spell magic on them.
I need you to make me an ability check using your spellcasting ability.
Alright, one moment. Got a core, and thankfully, my that one ring helps me quite a bit, so... let's see, charisma. Yeah, it's charisma checks. So, oh, sorry, wrong one. There we go.
To no avail, you cast. Cast this detect magic spell, or I'm sorry, your dispel magic spell upon the guard, and as it starts to cast, even beyond just your casting of the spell, like, the magic doesn't even go out. Like, the magic that's around you that you're still detecting with your detect magic, it just, like, envelops, and, like, you get the impression it would have taken an incredible roll to have succeeded to begin with, and you also know that that wasn't your best.
Yeah, so she's going to just wait a while before trying that again.
So as you kind of take a moment to sort of pause, Michael, one thing you are noticing, you're seeing these two guards from your, you're seeing these two guards from your home. They're just kind of standing there stationary. You can see that the gate to Gurn is at least a little bit, like, it's not actually in a locked position. You could
open it from there?
Yeah, it would take a some effort, but you could probably push it open and slide through if you wanted to.
Guys, can you help me? This gate doesn't appear to be locked. Can you guys help me try to, like, lift it open?
Yeah.
Okay.
You push forward and open the gate now into Gurn, and as the gate kind of slowly creaks open, these large wooden front gates, you see now the inside of Gurn, and The scene that you see, Michael, it's one of chaos. You can see the orcs of Gurn. It appears to be the elderly. It appears to be the children of Gurn. None of the, fighting military force that you see, but they are running about. You can see a lot of them they look like they have bags kind of flung over their backs, and are kind of getting ready to flee the town. You can see that there are others that are currently in the process of you can see what looks to be what looks to be a father, like in the process of picking up their child to kind of put them under their arm. But all of these actions that they're taking, they are frozen amidst them. You can see one person who's like halfway stumbled over, just frozen in place, and seemingly frozen in time as they're spilling a bag of apples. Those apples also just kind of stuck, just stagnant in the air, hovering. What you're seeing appears to be whatever besieged Gurn and Miradara has locked the entire kingdom in a moment of stasis. And your eyes, Michael, as they're wandering over the people that you rescued, you recognize some of the faces. These aren't just the descendants of orcs you once knew. These are the same orcs, some of whom you rescued and led families and lives in your kingdom. Here, frozen. That is the scene that you kind of walk into as you step into Gurney. And I would also like all of you to make me a perception check.
Perception. Okay. Question, would this be more like seeing or hearing?
This would be seeing.
Seeing, okay, so I can't use the bat hat stuff for that.
And in this instance, I would think actually just sword. Sword, while Michael, do you do anything in particular as you are kind of coming in and seeing the scene? Or are you like walking around and looking at the various people? Like, what are you doing?
I'm just looking absolutely disgusted. Like, why is this entire town almost frozen in time?
And while Michael's kind of viewing what has happened, the fate that has befallen his people here, Sword, you notice maybe the only point of actual motion in this town. You can see a small, thin trail of smoke rising up from the houses in the distance. The first sign of any life or activity in this town that isn't in this strange stasis.
Huh. That's odd. There's smoke coming out of that chimney over there.
Anadoltia will remind everyone that there's still a good bit of transmutation magic around, so it might be wise to take great caution. And then she looks to Michael and asks if there's any of these orcs around here that he believes would be the most informative.
Well, there is one person that I must know. I know that there was a chieftain that runs this town. I must find him specifically.
She nods once we find him, let me see if we can actually dispel the magic around him, if possible.
Yes, that would be very wise.
I will guide when she says the words to.
All right. Do you begin looking for? I mean, you have the source of that smoke, or are you guys right now trying to find any signs of that chieftain? What are you? Those are kind of the two things on the docket here.
Well, the people who, wherever that smoke is coming from, they may have not been around when this happened, but they would have be the closest guess to finding out what happened here.
Indeed.
Of course, they could also be the ones who caused this.
In either
That-
case, it's probably best to look into it.
Well, we can look into it for now. Let's look into it. If it leads to a dead end, then I'll have to go to the main building, and I believe I know where that is.
Okay. You walk through the streets of Gurn, seeing scene after scene of just the impression you're getting is people fleeing in panic, is what looks like was happening in this town when this sudden, when it was removed from time here. And you get closer to the house that has this little bit of smoke rising from it. And as you're looking at it from the outside, you can see that there are there's a faint light coming through the windows, the light of presumably the fire that's coming from the chimney. You can see what appears to be a shifting silhouette moving back and forth, and outside of the door, you can see what look like a couple of goblin heads mounted on pikes.
So I will attempt to try to get to the door of this place, and I assume it is locked when I try to open it.
The door, yeah, it doesn't actually seem like a lock in the traditional sense. As you walk up to it and go to push it open, it seems more like the door was barricaded than it was locked. Like there's just something really heavy behind it. And as soon as you kind of jiggle the doorknob, you could hear something like footsteps and movement that was kind of coming from within the house, and that immediately stops, and just kind of like a stillness, like you frightened whoever was inside of the house. A voice kind of calls back and speaks out, "You see your friends out there. You'll meet the same fate."
Is anyone in there? I only seek to help people. I only seek to help you out. It's me, your old king, Michael.
And you hear, you hear kind of like some rustling and like the sound of something being moved aside, as well as kind of a couple of like grumbles of confusion, as you see emerging now from kind of behind the door that opens before you. You can see what appears to be an orc man. He looks to be on the older side, maybe like 65 to 70 years old, and he kind of looks over at you, his face kind of lined with wrinkles and just, you can see like just war paint, grit. This is doesn't look like he's bathed in quite a while, but he looks across, and as he sees you, Michael, you're wearing your street clothes, but you see just like a dawning look in his eyes as they kind of widen as you're standing on his steps now. Is this really possible? He leans forward. Is it you?
Yes, it is me. I've come to reclaim what I sadly could not stay to rule. It is a mistake that I have made in my part, but it was a mistake that had to be done for the greater good of the entire world.
You see him just kind of like, he hears you say this, and I mean, he registers it, but also you can still see there's just like shock on his face from after all this time. His king, his people's savior, the symbol of order and hope for the people of Miradara just appears before him, and you see he just kind of like falls down to his knees before you, and looks up at you, Michael. I never dreamed that this day would come. That His Majesty, the last of the Verity line, and have you come to return Miradara to its former glory, my liege?
Indeed. However, there is one thing I must do before I can move on to the main capital. I must know what happened here. Why is everyone frozen?
And he kind of looks down to the side. It was the magic of that wretched goblin, the Calculord, and one of his minions. It has frozen all of Miradara here in time, in this moment of their ascending. The legion of math goblins, led by one of his primes, came and struck the city of Miradara. Our forces rallied to battle. This is what I have learned in observing it. I was a boy when the math goblins first came. I have been living and holding this place, for this is my home. And as hard as it has been to live here, I would never lose grip on Gurn. My father, the chief of the village here, he led the brave warriors of Gurn to join in with the Miradaran military, and by their might they were going to push back the goblins, but from what I have seen, there was no fight. This powerful spell that they cast over it, I saw it once. There was a time when I dreamed of saving this city. I crept into the walls of Miradara. They're overrun with the Math Goblin Legion that is now encamped there. I walked through the streets and I was nearly killed a couple of times.
You must... So you're telling me that my entire kingdom has been overthrown by nothing more than goblins? I just look really angry at this. How did goblins learn such powerful magic?
They are not just goblins, my liege. They are math goblins.
Of course. They took out my entire kingdom just by that? There must be a way to reverse all the magic. There must be a way.
I sought that out. Any spell so powerful needs an incredible agent to be channeled. There is a gemstone enshrined within the military district, the size of which I have never seen before. It must have been the catalyst for this spell. It still turns and vibrates with the magic that created this. I wanted to destroy it, but as I grew close, I saw the guards that were there, and my liege, I am sorry, I was not brave enough to attempt to destroy it alone.
Well, I will ask you this. Are you willing to be brave for me one more time and help me?
I will give my life if it is your command, my liege.
Good, because I will need assistance. My original plan was to gather the forces here to retake the city, but if everyone both here and at the capital is frozen as you say, then there is no point in that. I must break this curse of a spell before I can do anything important.
He nods and stands. You see he kind of shuffles back into his home and comes out wielding what appears to be like a very large maul that he tucks at his back.
Good. I know it's not much, but the more people we have, the better. So I hope we can shall we get to the capital then?
He kind of, if that is your word, my liege. He nods, and yeah, do you turn and begin making your way to the capital?
Yeah, I'm going to turn and inform the others that the plans have changed. With the entirety of the population frozen, there's no way to start a rebellion. We must do this ourselves.
I overheard you saying something about you saw the giant crystal thing.
Yes.
So does that mean you managed to infiltrate the city somehow?
I did. It was when I was younger. I crept past, keeping to the darker alleyways. Like I said, the city is crawling with the goblins. They're nearly everywhere. But I do believe that if that crystal is destroyed, well, the people of Miradara will be freed. And he looks over to you, Michael, and their anger will be known to these goblins.
They won't need to know anger. Once they see my face, they know who has freed them. They know it will be time for this kingdom to rise again. I will not let some utterly pathetic goblin, regardless of his abomination of magecraft and magic, to destroy everything I worked so hard for.
He nods, kind of tightens his grip on the maul, and then, I know where it is. And he kind of tells you again, we'll need to sneak through the west gate.
Very well. Then, since you seem to know the way, I will require your guidance, good sir.
Well, I know that it should be familiar to you as well. We'll need to get to the military district. I suggest we go through the old ward. It's the, I think there are the least goblins there, at least when I was there. I haven't been in some time.
Well, then let's get going then. Time is of the essence.
All right.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, absolutely.
Looking at this orc, can I make some check to deduce, just to make sure that this isn't a goblin disguised as an orc?
Yeah, certainly. You want to make an insight check, I think would be the way to go. Or investigation, I guess. For insight or investigation, your pick.
Okay.
Insight, 15. He seems to be above board. Yeah, you're not noticing anything particularly off about his demeanor.
On the way, like, if we're like heading to the capital, on the way, and also ask the orc if just the plain question, because it's been on pretty much on everyone's mind, including Roger's. How long has it been since all this happened?
You go over and you're talking to the orc on the way up?
Yes.
I am now, I would say, 68, and it was, I was a boy when this all began, so 50 years? The problem,
50.
and he kind of looks at you, and Belgian continues, but that is only my physical age. The Calculord has destroyed time for an abomination that has happened here, such as this. While I have aged, I believe that long the time could have been far longer. Reality has in many ways become unstuck. It is impossible to say for certain.
Yeah, Anadoltia like kind of looks down, she like kind of like clutches like her dress around her heart and just nods.
And yeah, he kind of like he goes on to explain, I think, as you're talking a little bit, that there's been like one of the things in kind of unraveling the physics of the land of DnDTime that the Calculord has done has really had an impact on time. And there are places in the world that are near untouched by it, and places in the worlds that it has ravaged. And it's unevenly distributed throughout. Yeah, you guys continue as you approach the actual gates proper of Miradara. You can see One of the first things you notice as you're getting closer and moving through the fields, just in the sky around you, at first it just seems like, I don't know if it looks almost like it's raining outside of Miradara, but it's just like in front of the city, and you realize now there is a hail of arrows that are just frozen stationary in the air, that are kind of raining down on where a Math Goblin Legion was probably approaching the city at the time that everything was frozen. And you can almost see like the history of this invasion as you walk closer. You can see people kind of fleeing through the various roads. You can see a couple of orc citizens that were kind of stuck outside of the city and that were trying to like flee in different places as you're getting closer. Like I said, you can see all these arrows that are just hanging in the air. One thing you do notice that as you go over and kind of like, you have to like brush some of the arrows out of the way, as you kind of touch them, it's not the same for the people, but as you touch the arrows, like they kind of unstick from time. Like you're able to just like pluck the arrows out of the air if you want to.
And I just poke them and they fall to the ground.
Likewise, yeah, the same kind of thing happens.
And also, like look to Michael, goes, if we break that crystal and those arrows above people fall.
The arrows aren't like above, like those are people that were a little bit closer. There's not like a bunch of arrows that are about to hit people here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because it looks like they were attacking like an enemy ranking it, and as you're getting even closer, you can see along the wall the archers of Miradara that are in the midst of firing out against just a force that is no longer there. Also along the wall, you can see patrolling alongside of them what appears to be just a pack of Math Goblins. You can see the great mithril bells of Miradara kind of hanging above the gate, and you can see a person that's currently like pulling on the rope, and the bell is halfway kind of pulled forward, and you imagine it must be clanging out the impending invasion, but no sound comes from the bell. You can also, like I said, see Math Goblins patrolling along the wall here at the western gate.
And also, remembers if the arrows when their touch falls, like she wonders if we somehow touch that bell, if it'll just ring out and alert the Math Goblin to that one position. Like if it'll give them like a bit of a way to get in. And she does kind of speak this to the group.
I have a way of touching. If a simple touch is all it takes, then perhaps I can shoot it from afar.
And also kind of nods.
May I make an attempt to shoot at the bells to unstuck them from time with a crossbow?
All right. Before we do, maybe we should find a way to get closer to the walls, where yeah.
Yeah. Right now, you're just kind of walking along the road, and I assume that you're doing in such a way. Again, I'm just kind of giving you the benefit of the doubt that you're trying to move stealthily and not be seen by anyone. But if you want to actually get up to the wall and be able to shoot at the bell, there's a little bit of you're behind. We'll say kind of an outcropping of rocks and kind of a little bit of wood cover that's over here out inside the city. That was actually probably cultivated here as more of decorative trees to enrich in just the appearance of the city, as Miradara is a pretty cosmopolitan space, and so you guys have found cover amongst some of those, but if you want to get to the wall proper, you'll have to kind of make yourselves known or conceal yourselves in some way.
Yeah, I will do that. I will happily make my way to the wall with as close as we can with that outcrop that you just mentioned, and using that as cover from the Math Goblin's line of sight, I will then attempt to shoot the bell in order to make it ring. And
okay, this is going to be a pretty difficult shot. because you're definitely outside of, even though, are you using a longbow or a crossbow? What kind of weapon are you using?
Light crossbow.
What is the range on a light crossbow?
80 feet is short range, 320 is
Okay, yeah, you're very close to like the end of that long range. So go ahead and make me an attack roll with disadvantage. It's a big target, but you will be at disadvantage for it. 13 is one above what you needed. As you kind of aim your crossbow pretty steadily and take a moment to and take a moment to just fire the great mithril bell that the arrow just kind of arcs through the air, and there's a moment, Michael, where you think you've missed it, and then you just start to hear kind of, you hear that kind of like deep resonant tone of the bell, that boom, kind of spread out for a moment, and it's strange. As you hit the bell, it doesn't just sound like boom that kind of rings out throughout the city. It's almost like it needs to like take a moment to catch back up to itself, where it kind of speeds out. But then that sound, the mithril bells that you've heard ring so many times, and as it swings, you see it catches the other bells. There are multiple bells that are here at the top of the city, ringing throughout like chimes, which just begin kind of cascading throughout over the city walls. And you can hear, nearly as soon as this happens, you for one thing, you see basically every math goblin that's standing up on the walls on the outside of the city direct their attention and turn towards the bells. So they are definitely distracted. And that's actually, I think, all you would see at this moment.
Okay, we've got them distracted. Shall we try to head it through the gates? Or do you...
How about someplace away from the gates? If she looks to the orc, like, do you know, like a alleyway that's close to the gate?
Or some alternative entrance, perhaps?
Can you repeat that question?
Like looking for if the orc knows like an alleyway or alternative like path that is like within the walls but next to the gate.
When I entered through the city, I used the main gate. I waited for just, well, frankly, hours for an opportunity, the likes of which I did not have that you just created then. Well, found my opening.
Well, I mean, still want to be safe than sorry. So, I mean, is there alleyways like past the gate? That's,
once you get past the gate, yeah. Once you get past the gate, there's definitely a lot of like room to take cover.
The main question I'm asking is if someone goes past the gate, is there like any space between the walls and like some buildings somewhere?
The buildings are like right on the other side of the gate. So
okay, so
you'll be able to get into cover pretty quickly once you get through the actual gate.
So we don't have to go through the actual gate. We just go.
Or you can go over a wall or whatever. Like I said, the math goblins which were paying attention to it are currently drawn towards the bells. I'll assume that you had this conversation before you actually created this opening with the bells, because that's maybe about a minute of opening before their attention is kind of re-diverted back to the front.
So I mean, which is why I'm asking that, because like we could probably just take a shortcut straight through a wall.
That's pretty cool.
If we want to keep the charges on the staff charged up, I have another way we could slip in there, basically.
Yeah,
right.
let's hear options before we waste charges.
Okay.
So what is your option?
Hole, and we have Ronnie just fly carrying the portable hole and land in the.
Oh, keep in mind the portable hole has no air, so.
Yeah, that's not gonna work.
No, it has 10 minutes there. I've had entire meetings in the portable hole to discuss strategy.
All right. Okay, so yeah.
I don't like the idea of the portable hole. I'm not sure if that's gonna work.
I can have the little brass man ride on Ronnie's back to help him open it up if you're worried about.
I mean, I kind of like the idea of Anadoltia making us a way through, but
I mean, if there's like sewers that Michael knows of, that I can also just pass walk down to there.
well, I would assume. I mean, there technically is, but we have to be we have to be in the city for me to get to it.
Oh, might as well just go in portable hole just right quick and just land like in a small alley.
Okay, we'll do that then.
So,
Okay.
which strategy are you going with?
We're doing the portable hole strategy.
Okay.
I pull out the little brass man to help with the dexterity and set out the portable hole.
I would like you to have. I think what this comes down to is just Ronnie is an incredibly intelligent creature, as is the little brass man actually, and they're both definitely able to like get you out of the portable hole if there's a problem. The problem is there's just going to be a little bit of a time where all of you are kind of vulnerable inside of it, and it will come down to I need Ronnie, and I assume you're going to give Ronnie guidance here as well. But I would like you to have Ronnie make me a stealth check with advantage, because this is during the moment of distraction of the bells.
Okay.
That's a critical
Ooh.
success, with an extra
25.
2 on top of it. Doesn't the guidance crit the damage dice on your skill check? That's a meme, obviously. Ronnie soars through the sky, using, again, like an incredibly intelligent creature, is like watching the math goblins on the wall look up towards the bell and finding like the right paths and like kind of ways he can fly, and eventually drops down into a building. And after the bells, the mithril bells of Miradara ring out, you guys are in a portable hole for a while, and it's dark, but long before 10 minutes have passed, it's only been about a minute before Ronnie kind of places you down, and you see a very small toy brass soldier and a small phoenix looking back at you from the light of the inside of the city of Miradara, where all of you now are.
Okay, looks like we're in. That's a good lead. That's good for us. One step closer.
Yeah, and also like kind of like climbs probably on the orc's back and then gets out because she's too small to climb out of the hole on her own.
I imagine that the orc there kind of picks you up and just places you on the outside of the hole before climbing through himself, and you guys now stand in the city, and again the signs are similar, like what you're able to see, Michael, as you're looking about your home. You're back again. It's been a very long time since you've seen the inside of the city of Miradara, but your home. You can see your people. The citizens of Miradara are very much in the same state as those that you saw at Gurn. They are running, they are fleeing, some of them are just like barricading themselves in their homes. You can see what looks to be a woman that's in the middle of what looks like a really hearty blow with a frying pan at an enemy that again is just no longer there. But that is the scene as you're kind of walking and tucking through some of the back alleys. And you are able to, why don't all of you, because right now you're just trying to make your way to that crystal, right?
Yes.
Why don't all of you go ahead and make me a stealth check?
Okay.
All right.
I guidance myself.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good call.
Sweet. It's like
Good
you
thing
get
I'm
a-
not in my armor
Sword,
right now.
I believe are you at disadvantage, Sword, because of your armor?
No, I have the charm of desertion.
Oh, nice.
oh yeah, you said advantage, right? Or
No, you would not be.
Okay, never mind. Yeah, I've been getting bad rolls today.
Yeah, Michael, just for the record, Michael, you might want to have been in your armor right now, as it does take a pretty good amount of time to put armor on.
Fair enough, but I do have that charm of fabulosity as well, which just instantly changes it. So.
Oh, cool. I forgot that you had that Cool. I get you.
Either way, it's a 14.
14. Okay. You guys are just walking as you can, creeping amongst the back streets here in the western district of Miradara, and for the most part, you're avoiding sight. There's a couple of moments where you'll see a math goblin walking by, or a pair of them. A lot of the goblins here, their discussion is mostly around, did you hear those bells? Is kind of what a lot of them are saying, like, I wonder if there's something going on. There's some concern. But most of them are just moving pretty casually. They're certainly not expecting the 5 of you here kind of stalking the streets. And your stealth works for you to a point. You make it down near kind of most of the main thoroughfare. And you're kind of working your way over towards the old ward. But eventually, as you're kind of stepping out, Anadoltia, you step a little bit too far, a little bit too fast, and as you kind of come around a corner, you can see a math goblin that is in the process right now. That looks like they're just like walking up to what appears to be a fruit vendor, and they pluck like a bunch of grapes that was stasis d'nair out of the air and just start kind of like picking them off and eating them. You kind of turn around right as they're doing this, and you have a moment where they look at you, Anadoltia, and you look at them, and you've both seen each other. And the math goblin kind of starts.
Wait, what? How far is the math goblin from me?
Math goblin is currently, the math goblin is currently like 40 or so feet away at like a little bit of a vendor stall that's farther up down this alley.
Is it by itself?
Appears to be alone.
Okay, Anadoltia actually will use one of her spell slots for this, her own spell slots. And casting that 5th level, well, 4th, well, it's still going to be 5th level because of the Warlock, but trying to banish that motherfucker away.
All right, I would like you to make me a dexterity check, actually.
Dexterity? Okay, give me a sec.
End of a story. It's pretty good.
Okay, dexterity is not my best thing, but let me make sure I got nothing to. Okay. Yeah, it's not my best, but what's with my terrible rolls today?
You go, and he's gonna make a charisma saving throw.
Yes. Oh, he fails.
Okay, he definitely fails. So what happens is you guys all kind of round the corner, and Anadoltia kind of pops out a little bit ahead and has this moment with this math goblin where both of you are kind of looking each other square in the eyes for a moment, and you just throw up a spell, but before you get a chance to do so, you see this math goblin just kind of like throws a hand upwards and also casts a spell. And you watch as just what appears to be, it looks almost like a chromatic orb, but it's maybe like a little bit changed and twisted, some kind of mathematical magic that he's wielding here. But what it does do is send a brilliant red light up into the sky here in the district.
All right, am I able to do a...
And then they disappear.
Am I able to do a reaction when he tries to do that?
I think at this point, no, because you are essentially surprised by this goblin.
All
like,
right.
This is all. That was what that dexterity check was for, was to see if you were able to get to do something before they were able to do something here. It's kind of like a pseudo initiative here. So I think that goes off no matter what here.
Okay.
But the goblin then is extremely banished. And you guys see what could be nothing but a signal flare go up around you.
That's an indication the alarm has just been raised.
Yeah, let's disappear right quick.
And at this point, you guys have made it pretty far into the West District, and like I said, you're working your way to the Old Ward right now. But you do you just like, what do? Do you just start running? Like, at this point, do you just start booking it, or do you like try and hide? What do you do?
Actually, Anadoltia tell others to try to make their way ahead. She'll catch up. Is there any windows like nearby where that signal flare went up?
I mean, yeah, there's buildings all around you.
All right, yeah. Anadoltia will just find a random window and just jump in it. Just jump in it and sit down and just take the form of just a doll.
Okay. Anadoltia, you crash into a building. What's everyone else doing?
I'm going to lead the remaining. If Anadoltia stays behind, then I will try to lead the others in. As much as I want to run, we need to be careful, because if we get surrounded by math goblins, it's over. But
I grab hold of Michael and
Okay. Michael, you feel a magical energy kind of come over you.
I'll cast Bless on all of us.
You throw down a bless, and it isn't long after you kind of have these moments of decision. Anadoltia, you climb into a building, and you see your comrades kind of here out on the streets, getting ready just for a battle, and you start to hear it immediately. What seemed like a city asleep and just frozen is starting to come alive, as Anadoltia, for one thing, the building that you're currently in, as you kind of just grab a couch or something and become a doll on that couch, you also notice you can hear the sound of a couple of math goblins that were upstairs inside of this building, starting to run downstairs at the sound of this signal flare, which does make kind of a little bit of a pop as it hits into the air that they seem to recognize. You can also see from up ahead, you just hear stirring, and the math goblins are getting ready to just converge on this location at whatever this signal means.
Okay, but I want to point out that I just decided to just sit in a windowsill or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my plan. Sit in a windowsill just like a regular doll.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. They walk by you. They don't notice you.
I do have a plan. If you got this, might sound stupid, but I might want to actually allow the goblins to see me. Just hear me out. But because I have a spell that can pretty much render this entire battle null and void.
maybe we should use that spell at the...
That is a fair point. Then let us make haste to the crystal then.
Anadoltia, do one of you just grab Anadoltia, or Anadoltia, do you are you still trying to remain motionless, or do you just run alongside?
I did tell him to go on ahead. She'll catch up.
So you want to get a little bit of distance between you? Okay.
Yeah, she can actually kind of keep track of the goblin movements, and if need be, she will send a message to them because she has a way to do that.
Okay. You guys in that case just begin taking straight off for the crystal. Your orc guide here kind of leading you down the side streets. Just come! As soon as that kind of signal flare goes up and you guys have a moment of what's the plan once you decide to run, he just begins kind of booking it down side streets that you are also very familiar with, Michael, as you're moving through, your childhood is what you're running through here. But math goblins around you are starting to just pop out of doors, out of side alleys. You can see, you can hear the sounds on some of the larger streets of what looks like the scampering of footsteps of, not just, single math goblins, but, troops and guards that are kind of converging on the location here. I would like you all to roll for initiative, as you're now locked in this chase through the city.
I mean, do I have to as well, or?
Yeah, you would also roll.
Okay, even though I'm just sitting in the ceiling.
Yeah, I mean, you're just chilling. It's not like they're going after you right now, but...
All right.
Roll for all these fools. Okay, so... Oh, wow. Okay, so the math goblins are for the most part going to be going first here. And... One of the first things that you guys, or actually you don't see any of those yet, one of the first things that you guys notice as you're kind of running through some of the streets of the city is along the tops of the buildings, like, math goblins are starting to see you. You're running, and a lot of the math goblins here are pretty weak, and if you guys want to, like, as you're running, are you guys trying to, like, take math goblins out, or are you just full sprint? This is just like a general question.
Full sprint.
Okay,
I have a plan. We full sprint to the old ward. Once we get to the courtyard, I have the perfect plan.
Okay. In that case, you guys are just completely booking it right now. But out of the side, you can see a couple of the math goblins are like hopping up onto roofs and getting ready to fire some of their square weapons at you. And Lance, Sword in particularly, you know how deadly square weapons can be. And you look up, Sword, and a couple of them have square short bows. And 2 Math Goblin elites are going to fire square short bows at you as you guys are running through the city here. Just from the rooftops, as you guys are like ducking and dodging. That was an attack against you, Sword. That's a crit to hit. That's a total of, how does it 3? That doesn't. Oh, it didn't square the 3rd. So that 3 is actually a 9. So 45 points of damage. You watch as one of these square short bows kind of leans back, Sword, and you recognize the weapon just as it strikes into you. The second attack is going to be against you, Lance. That's a 12, which I assume whiffs by a long shot.
Indeed.
The next arrow you see comes down, you batter it away, but these are deadly weapons that they're wielding. As they hit you, they impact with additional force that goes beyond any kind of non-weapon that was created not in this magical way. And those are 2 Math Goblin elites that are just kind of like, they're like running alongside you on the streets as you're tracking here. That's going to move us to the first in initiative here, which is Anadoltia. You see your friends round the corner up ahead. You can see some of your some of the Math Goblins are like running past and trying to catch up to where they are as they're like kind of starting to shout orders across the streets at each other. What are you doing, Anadoltia, as you're hanging out in this windowsill?
Okay, so what would the closest group of enemies be considered? Just Math Goblins?
Yeah, they're
okay. How far
like creature type? They're humanoids, subtype goblinoid.
No, I just want to know just if they were like Math Goblins or the elites or whatever. But how far away are they from me?
There are Math Goblins all over the place. You can actually see what appears to be a group of them, like a contingent of them, maybe 6 or 7 Math Goblins in total, that are a little bit closer to the main thoroughfare that you can see like 100 feet away.
Okay, so if it's less than 100 feet away, I'm going to choose the like within that 100 feet away. I'm going to try to hit that group of goblins with a guys in front of them, Steph and the Magi. Yep. A wall of fire.
All right. Go ahead and make me a stealth check to do so, or a performance check rather.
All right. 1 second. I need to check something. So, on one side of selected by you, when you cast a spell, deals 5d8 to each creature that ends its turn within 10 feet. Okay. Oh, give me a moment. You say performance?
Yeah. 17.
And it's actually going to be 18 because of my my little ring.
All right. You throw up this wall of fire, which just cuts I imagine you're just cutting a swath across the main thoroughfare to like prevent any Math Goblins from going through that way.
And if there's any Math Goblins near like that range, it just puts them
Oh
into
yeah. Well, you can also incinerate that entire little battalion that you saw there. Literally all of them fail their saving throw, and as this wall of fire comes up, just 7 of these math goblins disappear. And as the math goblins are killed, you can see they don't just die, like their body and all of the weapons that they're carrying just disintegrate into dust, which is part of the nature of being a math goblin.
Okay.
But yeah, you completely annihilate this whole little contingent and also create a pretty impassable obstacle in the main thoroughfare, which will be helpful.
Not to mention that it is opaque, so they can't really see past that for any others who try to get through.
Next was the Math Goblin Elites. Now it's your turn, Sword. What would you like to do, Sword?
Shoot. I'll cast Healing Word with my bonus action.
Okay.
Not myself.
Yeah, I suspected it might be on you. You heal yourself for 8 points. And what else do you want to do?
And how far away from the other enemies are we?
There's 2 Math Goblin Elites that are kind of like running alongside of you, essentially on rooftops, running in parallel to you. You can also see a little bit further up, kind of emerging onto the street, there's a battalion of what looks like 6, like maybe 8 or so Math Goblins that are like coming up in front of you and getting ready to set up a blockade on the path that you're doing.
And how far away are the elites from us?
The elites on the rooftops, yeah, they're running parallel to you, so they're actually not that far away. They're just above
striking
you. Yeah,
how
certainly.
high
They're about...
Are they like, you said they're 30 feet up?
How high are the buildings in Miradara? Like, how big is the average building? Are they like 20 feet, 30 feet tall?
I'd say something like that. Like, it varies from district to district, but in the current district, I would say the average is between like 30 to 35 feet.
Okay, yeah, so we'll say they're about 30 feet up, Sword, as they're, and just a little bit to the right. So. What do you want to do, Sword? You still got an action.
For now, I'll type one off of my...
Fire away. 21, roll damage. 11, the elites have the same health as the other ones. With your longbow, as you bring it back, the arrow flies, and as it strikes into the Math Goblin, you also see them just kind of disintegrate into dust that just disappears in the wind, their short bow, kind of disintegrating in the same way alongside of them. They're just gone.
Alright, and that will be it.
Alright, that's going to bring us next in Initiative 2. Michael, what do you want to do, Michael? There's a whole bunch of Math Goblins that are trying to block your path up above. Up ahead, there's also the one above you that's firing down.
Oh, they're up ahead? Oh, dear.
Yeah, there's like 6 or 7, or actually precisely 6 Math Goblins that are creating like a blockade at the end of the alley that you're running down.
Oh boy. I was afraid. I didn't want to use my action surge so soon, but I'm gonna have to use my action to send out Sarge.
Okay. You toss the Sovereign Sphere forward. I imagine. What do you say as you do so? Do you have
Sarge,
like a?
I'm gonna need some assistance.
And as he pops out, Sarge, Sarge! He readies his blade arms.
However, I'm unable to attack, so I was going to because that's an action to do, I'm unable to use an action to have Sarge attack. So...
I will let Sarge attack the same turn that he summoned. I think that's cool.
Okay. Then he is going right up to them and he is going to Shadow Pulse them all.
Oh, damn! Okay, what does this do?
It is a DC 15 con save or take 3d12 necrotic damage.
There's 6 of them
or
here.
half as much as
Oh wait, so half as much on a successful save.
It's current, so it's a con save or take 28 necrotic damage.
Or 14 on a successful save?
Yep.
Okay, well, even though some of them successfully saved, you watch as the Shadow Pulse, Sarge just... what does it look like when Sarge does a Shadow Pulse? Does he, like, slap his arms together and they're just, like, the energy just, like, courses out?
No, he claps his hands together and it's just, like, a wave of just dark energies just swathed right towards the Math Goblins, like a wave.
Which just washes and crashes into them, and as the wave dissipates, all that's left of those 6 Math Goblins is that same dust that just kind of filters upwards and into the air. and those math goblins are dealt with.
Okay, how is there any way of knowing how closer we are to the courtyard of the old ward? Because I have a plan for when we get there.
You're kind of getting there right now. There's still the one immediate threat of that goblin that's left, but basically, once you've cleared that goblin out, you've taken care of most of the threats, so you'll be able to get to that next point quicker as we move. And that's all for your turn as well, right, Michael?
Yes, that is all I can do.
Lance, there's one math goblin remaining. Your party's making quick work of them.
Are the elites still around, or did
There's
those
one
get
elite. There's one elite, and it's up on top of the building on the left.
Excellent. As we're running at full tilt, Ronnie swing by him and burn him.
Yeah. Burning Hands is going to make a dexterity saving throw.
DC 16.
That's not enough. The last goblin is just incinerated in flames as that goblin also falls before your onslaught here. And you guys have cleared out all the surrounding goblins. You can continue to hear them surrounding and trying to encompass and kind of bring you guys roped in. But for now, you've kind of escaped them as you continue. And from this point, you're able to get to the threshold. You're just about to approach the old ward. You're right on the verge of it, Michael. We're still in initiative technically right now, but you have a moment to take an action if you guys want to.
As we continue running, I will death ward myself as.
Okay. Cool.
I think would Anadoltia be still considered in combat at the moment?
Yes and no. Just tell me what you want to do.
I want to use city secrets to move quickly towards the where everyone's supposed to meet up at.
You're trying to use what to move there?
Pretty much city secrets combined with the six pack of Crimson Bovine.
6-pack of Crimson Bovine and city secrets. If you throw in an invisibility spell, you'll be able to get up to your comrades in no time.
All right, I'll do that.
Okay.
All right, so I'll reduce that another 2.
So right now, Anadoltia, you have this Crimson Bovine, and you just, for this brief moment, rocket at lightning speed up. And do you want to land, because the Crimson Bovine only lasts for one round, but do you want to, land on the rooftops so you can find them more easily?
Kind of. I mean, it does last to the end of my next turn, so yeah.
Yeah, well, you get a couple of rounds of it, but yeah, this is kind of the nitro rocket.
Yeah, I'll probably land next to a chimney.
Okay. You touch down on a chimney, and I think that you touch down there right as Ronnie kind of finishes off this last math goblin with the burning hands, and you kind of have reformed up with everyone now, but you also have this slightly higher vantage point as you're kind of following the roofs as well. And that vantage point puts all of you, as you now come into the old ward, Michael. You can see the old ward is named as such because it was the first district built in Miradara. And you can see the buildings here are there's less buildings made of stone, more of them are made of wood. Some of them are in kind of various states of disrepair, but also there's just sort of a regality to the buildings here, as they have so much history that you're familiar with, Michael. And as you're coming into, there's something of a footbridge that crosses over the road, creating a little bit of an arc over the entrance into the old ward. And in the invasion, you can tell that part of the building is frozen in time, and it's about to collapse. You can see what appears to be a family right on the entrance into the old ward that this bridge was about to collapse upon before they were frozen in time. And that is the scene that you see as you're kind of coming into the old ward. Further on, you can see math goblins that seem to be redding on tops of roofs, these strange looking crossbow trebuchet kind of things that they're setting up, these ballistas that they're putting on rooftops. So we're back around initiative. Michael, is there anything you want to do or say?
Or is it the math goblins that are setting these up?
The math goblins are setting these up.
Okay, so in the courtyard, there's so I've held festivals in the courtyard of this old ward before. There is a statue of me right in that middle area where there's a circle in the map. and right where there's a circle right next to where you marked me, Pete,
Mm-hmm.
and that would be where the statue is.
Okay.
So basically, I want to meet up at the statue, and at that point, this is going to be a point of no return, as I would assume that the math goblins would completely surround us at this point, because we're out in the open.
Given time, if you stop moving there, then eventually yes.
Well, what do you guys wish to do? Do you wish to stay put? I have a spell that can completely flip them over to a different side.
Michael, how confident are you in that spell? I mean, they have those square bows, and they have really fucked up looking ballistas that are probably also square.
You have a fair point, and also, I might as well just wait until we get to the military ward where the gem is. You have a fair point. Shall we make haste to the military ward?
All right.
Because it's either we head to the military ward now, or I'm making an army out with my own sword.
Question, Pete. These trebuchets, like, how big are they?
They are they're not like full-on catapult sized, but they're what's a good about as wide as you could go, about as wide as you could stretch out with your arms. They're on the big side. And they're like wall mounted. You also see there's a bunch of like strange like moving spheres and stuff on them.
All right. So my question is, like, do they look like they weigh less than 1,000 pounds?
They're probably right in the probably a bit less than that. Yeah.
Okay. So like, Anadoltia call up to the group and says like, y'all go on ahead. I'll hold them off a bit, and she'll use the spell from.
Well, you guys are, before you do that, you are technically still initiative, so you will be first. But this is kind of like in the moment before initiative kind of kicks back off, because the math goblins are also trying to do stuff to you guys.
Yeah. So she does tell them like, if y'all can, like, just go on ahead to the staff, or to the gym. I mean.
Very well.
Pete, how many rounds of us fleeing would we be in range of the ballista?
Be in range of the ballista? You guys are like, basically, where you're coming in is like, you guys are in range of it almost now, it looks like. You haven't seen it fire yet, so you don't know what it's capable of, but there are more than one of these things, keep in mind too. This isn't just a singular ballista. Like, you can see that there are a few of these mounted on rooftops throughout the old board here, and just goblins are running up to essentially man them.
Oh, okay.
I do have an idea that I really wanted to try, but I'm not sure if it'll work. I wanted to see if there's any math goblins near me. I could use a spell to make them call for reinforcements and surround us for a good reason. Because there's a spell I really wanted to use, but what do you guys think?
It's all up to you. And those are just trying to like stall so y'all can progress.
Okay.
What's your call, Max?
Okay. I'm going to tell Lance and Sword to get to the gem. I'm staying with Anadoltia.
Hells yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm staying with Anadoltia at the old ward right at the statue, and if there is there any math goblin near me that I can cast a spell on?
You can on your turn, because I think
okay.
There's just like a moment where you and Sarge, kind of like, you do the shadow pulse, you run a few more steep steps forward to get to the old ward, and then you kind of just probably shout a couple of orders like, "You two get to the gem. I need to take care of something." Is that probably what happens here?
Yes.
Okay. Lance, Sword, do you guys just follow Michael's gut here?
Let's book it.
All right. So at this point,
we break this thing, the quicker we'll be able to get back to him.
You veer off to the side a bit here, Michael, and you begin moving over towards your statue. And meanwhile, Sword and Lance, you kind of forge forward. Anadoltia, you're on the rooftop, and you can see Michael kind of break off from the pack alongside of Sarge, and begin moving over towards the very heart, the center of the city. As he kind of gestures up to you to follow. The first to act in your instance is you, Anadoltia.
Okay, so how many math goblins are there?
Okay, to explain the math goblin situation, in front of you, there were 4 math goblins that were manning these different ballistas on the rooftops that were further in the direction that Lance and Sword are headed. Over your way, you can see there's just sort of a flood of math goblins that are starting to pour towards the city center. The number of them is large enough that I can't really enumerate them for you. There's just a ton of them that are moving in the direction that Michael is moving.
All right, so the trebuchets. How
you
far?
can also see a couple of. You can also see a couple of what looks to be a geomancer, a math goblin sort of general. That is kind of giving some orders to the goblins that are starting to man those cannons.
Okay, so the geomancer and the trebuchet cannon things, how far are they from each other and how far are they from me?
Each of them is like 30 feet apart, as they're on like opposite sides of the road, placed in like increments.
Okay.
And you are on that rooftop. I mean, the first one is about 30 feet away, and then 30 more feet for each one.
Okay, which one would I catch the geomancer in?
He's over about 90 feet out, the third one down.
Okay, so, alright, since they're about 30 feet apart from each other, Anadoltia's targeting the farthest, like 2 trebuchets and a geomancer with, come on, Ice Storm.
Okay, they're gonna make an Ice Storm. The Math Goblin dies no matter what, because half damage on that's going to... actually, wait, no, 18. He might live, actually, with half damage. Oh, so he is gonna roll. Give him a shot. And that's a Constitution saving throw, right?
No, that's a Dexterity saving throw.
Oh, I'm sorry, a Dexterity saving throw. It's an 11. That's going to fail. So yeah, that Math Goblin disintegrates. The Geomancer has advantage on these checks.
Just know
that's
it
still going to
turns
fail.
the area to difficult terrain as well. So
Good to know. And then are you going to start running in the same direction that Michael is?
I'll probably hold off here. Just like keep an eye on the other trebuchet.
Okay. Try and hold ground. As we move next in Initiative 2, it's actually that Geomancer's turn. They were actually supposed to go before you. They are going to look down at you, Lance. Actually, I think they're going to go after you, Anadoltia, who just fired that blast over at them, that ice storm. And you watch as they're going to begin casting a spell. Do you have a reaction to that?
Yes, I do.
I thought you might.
Yeah, my reaction is I absorb it.
How?
The Staff of the Magi.
How does that work? I don't know about this. I thought you were just gonna counterspell.
Oh my god, I forgot
It's
about
essentially counterspell.
Spell absorption. While holding staff, you have advantage against on saving throws against spells. In addition, you use your reaction when another creature casts a spell that targets only you. If you do, the staff absorbs the magic of the spell, canceling its effect and gaining a number of charges equal to the absorbed spell's level.
Well, it was so it just negates the effect.
Pretty much.
That's pretty cool.
What level was it?
It was only a first level spell, but it was a very brutal custom first level spell that you now negate. You watch as 3 magic missiles begin to like form, and you watch as those magic missiles transmute into squares, and then they just kind of fizzle into your staff as you absorb them kind of incoming. And the Geomancer, kind of like curses to himself a bit. And that's all for their turn, actually. That's a good move. That's going to bring us next in Initiative 2. the Math Goblin elites. They are going to go over and man their. They're going to go ahead and man those ballistas, and they're going to use Calculated Strike. These first two are going to be against you. Are going to be against you, sword. Or sorry, one of them is going to be against sword. One of them is going to be a. Two of them are going to be against lance. There we go. Got it. 3. So sword. That's a 21 to hit. Does that get you?
Sword.
Sword 21.
It doesn't hit me.
All right, and then lance. That's a 27 and a 19. I assume the 27 hits, 19 misses.
Yep.
You take 22 points of damage. As you watch as these math goblins begin just like adjusting these little spheres that are on lines on the side of it, much like an abacus. As whatever they're calculating into the thing, the trebuchet starts to charge up with energy before 22 points of force damage come rocketing out of the front of the trebuchet in the form of like a spectral arrow that blasts at you with their calculated strike here. That's all for those elites' turn. As we move next initiative to... it was... Sword, you're next. What do you want to do, Sword?
How far away are we out from getting out of range of these things?
From getting out of range, I mean, you're gonna have to get where you're going. You'll have to go through. You have to go through them.
Yeah, but I mean, like, what's the distance on that?
You can't really see your destination. Like, to get to the end of this street, it's like 300 feet.
It's gonna be 3 turns at least.
Yeah. I mean, if you take out the enemies, you'll be able to get there, like, uninterrupted, or you could also just, if you have a way to just speed through it, you could try and do that, too.
Alright, in that case... I'll use since Anadoltia's taking care of the ones on the right, I'll summon my spiritual weapons to start just crawling along the way to take care of the ones on the left.
Okay. So you're gonna try and spiritual weapon down one of the elites?
Yeah.
Go ahead and make an attack roll. 18's gonna hit. Roll damage on that. Oof. 21 points of damage. You watch as your spectral sword just goes to one of the ones that's kind of mounted at the abacus and just it stabs into him. The goblin disintegrates in the same way you've seen the others do. You still have an action.
I will continue moving forward and cast... well, since Lance is right next to me, I'll just use Cure.
All right. You're going to cure wounds on yourself or Lance?
Lance.
Okay. Lance, you gain 12 points of health. As we move next in initiative to Michael, you begin heading off towards the square.
So I'm going to head there, but I'm going to make sure to tell Anadoltia to allow me to be surrounded because I have a plan.
Okay.
Because based on this map, while Anadoltia is getting a considerable number of them hindered, there are just too many sides to take into account for, and we'll soon be surrounded. However, if I can within the Geomancer's range, I would like to cast Suggestion on them.
On the Geomancer?
Yes.
Okay. What's the range on Suggestion?
Checking that now. Suggestion is 30 feet.
Okay. Yeah, you would have to run up closer to him, unfortunately, because you kind of are branching off of that path, and he's already like 90 feet down the other direction.
In that case...
there are math goblins that are kind of like pursuing you, and I imagine that you're just cutting down math goblins left and right as you just dance your way through to the center of the city. So there's math goblins around you that you could target if you want to.
Actually, how many are near around me at this point? Like, I want to hold my action until there's a considerable number of them surrounding me.
In that case, your best bet is just to run forward and let them kind of gather. I think your previous plan of getting to the city center is the way to go, because there's a lot of them that are already kind of gathered there.
Yeah, that is my plan. My plan is to hold my action until it is the Math Goblin's turn and they surround me.
So if you just want to get there as quick as possible, are you okay with provoking a couple of opportunity attacks?
I'm okay with that.
Okay. You're going to take 2 opportunity attacks here. That's a 12 and a 7. I assume both of those are way off.
Those both miss.
Yep. That's all for the turn.
Oh, yeah, all my turn. I was going to hold an action, but you said I had to dash.
Well, that's to dash. I assumed that you dashed that round.
Yeah.
And that's going to put you, like, right in the city center. You're, like, not quite there, but you're, like, on the outskirts where you can now see the great statue of you.
Okay. Perfect. My plan will be working soon. Next turn.
Oh.
What would you like to do?
How's the
Geomancer's in very good shape.
Is he then a nice, tight little area with any of the ballista operators, or just a bunch of...
He was in an area with... I mean, basically, you're at a point now as the streets start to flood. You're hitting minor math goblins by accident with stuff. But he is... he was with one of the ballista operators, or the abacus operators, but now he is... that one's been killed, so he's just alone.
Okay.
And there's 2 other abacus operators up as well.
How close are the 2 abacus operators?
Unfortunately, they're 60 feet apart at this point because they were all 30 feet distanced. And they're 30 feet from both are 30 feet equidistant from the Geomancer. On opposite sides.
Okay. Just normal math goblins operating heavy machinery.
Seems to be.
Okay. We'll start this off with Ronnie swooping in and of the ballista.
Have them make me that. They could live on a successful save.
DC 16 dex.
Oh, they survive. The flames course over, they duck and cover underneath the actual physical abacus ballista here, and they avoid getting completely scorched.
Ronnie will dive behind some buildings since he's drawn a lot of it. And I'm right next to Sword. Sword, how?
I'm a little over half. Because that first hit.
Okay, I think I know what I need to do. Operation order. We're running after the beyond the city center.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Sword, let's as I sword, I will point back towards Anadoltia and then I'll teleport direction to get past the city center and towards the military district.
The Geomancer is going to attempt to counterspell that as they see you begin to channel this dimension door, which they do have to make. They're doing it at low level, so they do have to make a check, DC 14, which they succeed on.
Anadoltia, you don't happen to have...
Actually, I don't have a reaction available.
Yeah, Anadoltia unfortunately already used their reaction. So the Geomancer, as soon as you begin to like channel the spell to just teleport away, the Geomancer, you watch as they just seem to be like doing a calculation in midair, and some strange kind of numbers appear around your hands, and the magic that you were focusing on just kind of shatters. Is it all for your turn, Lance?
Yeah.
All right.
I'll do it.
That's going to bring us to the regular math goblins. Currently, the regular math goblins, they're starting to like flood into and around you, Max. So 3 math goblins are going to make attack. Not math goblin elites. These are regular ones. 3 math goblins are going to make attacks against you. If I can ever find their... Okay, great. 2 of them are going to fire short bows at you. That is a 14
Nope.
and a 9. Both
And
of those are going to miss. Another one is going to swing in a long sword at you. 17.
No, and I'm going to repost that, and I'm going to make a counterattack.
Yeah, go ahead and make me an attack roll. Rad.
I don't think the bonus damage even matters. They're dead.
That's correct, sir. As they come in, you can feel like an incredibly power 64 damage blow that you avoid, as you then counter in and expertly cleft through them with Veritas, them just disintegrating as the others have with the swing, and we move. That's Math Goblin turn. That's going to move us to the Geomancer, who is going to look down towards you, Lance. And they're going to toss out at you a very spooky effect. I would like you to make me a Constitution saving throw, Lance.
Oh my.
You succeed on a pretty dangerous effect. You watch as they begin kind of like running calculations in the air, and for a moment you just feel like you have this strange just like presence over you, and whatever the calculation that they were doing, you're okay. And that's going to be all for their turn. As we move next in initiative to the elites. There's two of these abacus wielders back left, and they're going to make one attack at sword and one attack at Anadoltia. That's at sword. That's a 19. I assume misses.
Miss.
And that's Anadoltia. That's a 29. 13 points of force damage.
Yeah, that would hit for sure. So.
Okay. And now that's going to bring us to Anadoltia.
All right, 1 second. Let me get that down. Okay. So, all right. So there's one in front of me, right?
That's right.
How far is the other one? Like, was it within 100 feet?
Both of them are within 100 feet of you.
All right. All right. Anadoltia takes her step and just points it, just kind of like taps it at the front one's chest, while still aiming into the other one.
That's a lot of damage. Yeah, you can get. They're in a line, so you can get both of them.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
They're not going to bother making saves. They both get absolutely obliterated, as it's just ozone. It's just ozone that's left. As 59 points of lightning damage, it just zips through and completely. Also, I think kind of melts these two abacuses as well, so they can't be used any further as it passes through them. Anything else on your turn? Pretty good lightning bolt. Only the Geomancer remains at this point.
Anadoltia is going to Anadoltia is going to move across the rooftops to get closer towards the Geomancer.
Okay. That's going to bring us then to Sword. What do you want to do, Sword?
My spiritual weapon move up and attack the next.
That's the Geomancer. Oh, you want to just attack the trebuchet? There's no goblins currently manning that.
So it's just the Geomancer?
Yeah.
Then yeah, go for the Geomancer.
Attack away. 11 will unfortunately miss. You still have an action.
In that case, where's that mark? And
20 will hit. 20 will hit for 12 points of piercing damage. The Geomancer takes an arrow. Anything else on your turn, Sword? I think that's action bonus.
Keep moving.
Michael, you'll provoke 2 more opportunity attacks, or sorry, 3 more opportunity attacks, but you could step into the square this turn with your action remaining.
I was gonna use my action for something else. Do I have to dash?
No, you just said if you are willing to provoke opportunity attacks, you only would need to move.
Okay, then that is what I will do.
Okay. That's going to be 3 scimitar attacks that fly against you, all of which I think miss, right?
Yeah. All but one. The first one hits me for only one.
Oh, he got it. The one that hit rolled the minimum damage. It goes from 1 to 64. It's a very sharp curve, that exponential curve.
And as my action, I take my sword, the Sword of Verity, and with the tip, I poke the ground and use the Rod of Rulership feature because I am currently in my kingdom to charm every single math goblin that is surrounding me. That has a range of, let me check, 120 feet radius.
All
A DC 15. Let me check what the save is. Is a Wisdom saving throw.
All right. So, with the Rod of Rulership, keep in mind that you can't, like, force them to do anything that would be contrary to their nature, but you can charm them, which will prevent them from attacking you. So, the Rod of Rulership, you hold it up into the air, and your the math goblins, I mean, there are I'm just gonna ballpark it and say there's like 100 of them in this square that have all kind of like gathered around you that you've been pushing through to get to the center, and I'm gonna roll a wisdom saving. Let's see if I remember how to do this. What's the number they're looking for?
The DC is 15 with DC Wisdom save.
29 of them succeed, which means that 71 of them fail. So,
but that also includes the Geomancer, if I may add, because he is in range.
Well, you're now in the square, I would believe. But the Geomancer may also have a better save. But I think you're away from the Geomancer at this point. Mm-hmm. But I'll you know what? I'll give it a chance. I think you're in Miradara, and it's kind of like, you know, enhanced powers of this thing right now.
Yeah.
So I'll give him a chance to fail here, although he does have advantage on saves against magic. Yeah, unfortunately, he's going to succeed. Yeah. But
it doesn't matter. But anyway, what I plan to do with these charmed goblins is, I'm going to command some of them to take me directly to the seat of Miradara. If that is allowed.
Yeah, I think just like to walk you to the castle, essentially.
Yeah, to take me to the castle, because I know whoever is plotting this is holed up in there.
Okay.
And I try to tell Anadoltia to follow me if possible.
Yeah, like she nods and she will go invisible for it though.
Okay, so Anadoltia, you watch Michael hold his sword up into the air, and just this incredible radiant light just courses out from it, and you watch as the majority of the goblins in this square just kind of like bend the knee before Michael. And the other ones that are kind of around that aren't, they start to just, they're not harming their fellow math goblins, but they're just forming sort of a barrier around Michael at his behest, and just creating a bubble around Michael as he steps towards, basically making a beeline now for the seat of Miradara as we move to, Lance. Only the Geomancer remains. What would you like to do?
How far through the city center have we made it running?
You guys are almost at the military district, and you can see Michael kind of is about to like basically reconverge past with you as he moves towards the keep, with just this like contingent of math goblins that are kind of around him, blocking other math goblins from getting closer to him.
Okay, and from the map, I would know that we're going to the
You're going
military.
from basically, yeah, you're going from 1 to 5.
Right, but we're way off to the east of the path Michael's going to be taking into the gates of the city.
Yes.
Okay. I'll just continue to run through at running speed, and as I'm going, set up a guardian of faith at the like city or street as we get to the middle
Okay.
to cut down ally or a goblin under service of Michael.
Okay. Are you ignoring the Geomancer for now then? Because that guy's still
Yes.
up. Okay, cool. In that case, that's going to bring us to their turn.
Wait, Ronnie will come up and try to scorch the Geomancer before flying
Dex save, right?
away again. Yep, 16.
16, they will succeed, but they're actually looking pretty rough with that. They're going to, on their turn, look down at you, I think again, Lance, and send out another very powerful... they're going to actually cast an even more powerful version of the spell. They're going to cast this guy right here. Anadoltia, do you want to do anything? They're casting a spell.
And you have a reaction.
All right, so Lance, do you think you might be able to survive it, or you don't think you have the hit points for it?
That's your...
We don't know what. I don't think
I
we
will
even know.
deny that. But I don't know what shape I'll be in.
I don't really want to use the spell since the staff does not have counterspell. So,
Okay.
but I mean,
You're not going to do anything?
I'm not going to do anything at the moment.
They cast Square Missile at you at a significantly higher level. So that's going to be, I'm going to have to do this math manually because these missiles aren't calculating it correctly. But the total damage, Lance, as these square missiles, 4th level square missile flies at you, is going to be 16, 25, 29, 31, 30. Not too bad, all things considered. That's going to be a total of 35 points of damage as these square missiles fly forward and crash into you, each one landing with unnaturally powerful force. And that's all for the Geomancer's turn as we move next to Anadoltia. What do you want to do, Anadoltia?
So yeah, Anadoltia will probably like, how far is the Geomancer from me at the moment?
How far is the Geomancer? I mean, you haven't moved at all, so they're still like...
I did move closer last round.
Okay, yeah, so they're like 60 feet away from you now then.
Okay, so it's just 60 feet. I'm gonna be following Michael, but first and foremost, bonus action. I'm gonna drink another Crimson, a 6-pack of Crimson Bovine, or just one more, to double my movement.
Okay.
Then I'll move right up to the Geomancer and cast. Where is it? Pretty much big spell, but why not? Planship on the Geomancer.
Okay. They are going to...
It is a, where is it? Charisma saving throw.
I mean, they're definitely gonna try and they're definitely gonna try and counter this.
I mean, if they try to counter it, I'm gonna counter it back.
Okay. I mean, they're gonna try and do it. 18, so that's actually a success.
And my counter back would be just absorb your spell.
You can't absorb a counter spell because it's not targeting you, but you
Oh.
base level, but you cast it at base level, so you could just automatically counter it if you do use counter spell.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay, you do that.
Yeah,
And then they're gonna make a charisma save.
He needs to
yeah, they had to
make a spell.
Oh,
Yeah, give me a second.
oh, this is a range of touch.
Yeah, I did. That's why I said I went right
Oh,
up.
that was the bovine. Okay, yeah, I get you now. Okay, so
Yeah.
go ahead and make me that attack roll.
One moment, and hopefully I'll continue with the shitty roll. So, this it'll be this plus 1. 21.
That's definitely gonna hit.
So yeah, I counted theirs, and now they had to make a charisma saving throw.
And that's a 13.
They failed. They are going straight to Agathis.
Wait, where are they going?
Agathis. I think it's like the 6th or 7th level of Carcery.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
The iciest turtle.
something strange happens. You haven't casted this spell since
I haven't
you've
casted that.
never casted the spell before, and you haven't tried to use any plane shifting magic. You watch as you plane shift. You have your eyes intent on this destination, but as you strike into him, you just watch as like the rift in space opens, and behind it, you just see a very large eye. Before the Geomancer just no, and then they're gone. It didn't look like where you wanted to send them, but it also didn't look like a particularly pleasant place.
Yeah, those just looks like what's the eyes appear and then just gets robbed and goes, oh, that's a thing. Afterwards she'll try to head towards where Michael is.
Okay.
But yeah, that's it. My turn.
Which means there's nothing standing between me and the seat.
Sword, what would you like to do? Oh wait, no, there's no more enemies before you. Yeah, so at this point, you guys are able to just rush forward, and your paths, you're heading down the road east, and that's actually towards the seat, and you can see that that's actually where the orc that's kind of guiding you leads. And Michael and Sword and Lance, you guys kind of converge from different points, but at different times. You see before you a pretty... for you, Michael, it's a pretty intense scene. You pass by... the key thing that you see here is, I mean, there's math goblins flooding from all over, but you can see that this is where the main troops of the Miradaran military were gathered to resist. You can see the vast majority of the orcs of Gurn are here, along with their chieftain. You can see a battalion of elite warriors that are led by the General of Flames, all of their armor kind of embossed with flames in different points. You can see the Miradoran Royal Guard, and at their helm, you see your mother and father that are kind of standing forward, arms outstretched, pointing. And the thing that they're pointing at is an incredibly large, pulsating crystal that you can just see the energy just crackling out from it here on the kind of over by this main path that leads to the keep here on the outskirts of the military district.
Okay, we finally made it to the military district. However, there's two things we must do. We must destroy this crystal, and then I have some unfinished business with whoever has plotted this entire thing. I must head to the castle itself.
All right.
I will leave
the math goblins that you have, your battalion of math goblins that you're commanding, as you guys are kind of like gathering up and walking closer to this crystal, they're like pushing the other math goblins back, but you don't know how long these math goblins that you've taken possession of right now will hold.
I entrust the other. I want to split up again because we're in the military district right now, but I need to get to the castle itself. And so I'm not sure what it takes to destroy the crystal.
Make me a perception check, Michael.
Will do. 15.
15. You're looking ahead, and you can see that the road to the castle is being guarded even more heavily than anything that you've seen thus far. You think that even with the contingent of math goblins that you've temporarily pulled back, this is a legion of thousands of math goblins that have taken up in this city, and the 70 or so that you have under your command right now will not get you through it. You will need the full night of Miradara, you believe, to be able to breach the gates.
In that case, since I have used none of my charges yet, I will use. Let me see. I will use one. 1, 2, 3, 4. I will use. I don't know how much it's going to take to destroy this crystal, so I'm going to use 5 charges of my sword to cast justice upon it and destroy it.
Go ahead and roll me that damage.
And it's radiant.
This crystal at the center here, it's pulsating a deep green, and as the blinding yellow light of the Justice of Miradara, your sword swings down towards it. Would you care to describe your killing blow on that object which has kept your city and people imprisoned for you don't know how long?
So basically what happens is I charge my sword, and it starts to glow with an incredible yellow light, and I'm like, whoever's behind this, I will make them pay for what they did to my people. Now it is my turn to spark the flames of rebellion. Go, my people! Verity! And then I just shoot out the beam right into the crystal as it shatters into millions of pieces and frees everyone from their grasp.
The light, the brilliant kind of white light overtakes the green that is kind of radiating out from the crystal, and as it kind of echoes, there's just sort of a shockwave that's sent throughout the city. And as it does so, you begin to hear a sound. All of you, it's initially just sort of overwhelming, just this sort of deep drone sound that starts to spread outwards. And as it continues, it begins to speed up. And eventually you hear the sound of your father, Michael, a voice that you've not heard in a very long time, begin to call out, "In the name of Verity, I command you, you will stop this!" And as he catches himself and realizes that whoever he was speaking to in that moment is no longer there, the soldiers all kind of stop and kind of like catch their weapons. They look around, confused. They see like the shattered crystal upon the ground. You hear the citizens of the city kind of right now, what sounds in a lot of cases like shrieks and cries, as the city is now coming to life in what was, at the time, a moment of panic. And really what it comes down to right now is, Michael, your people, they're just sort of lost. But one by one, the soldiers turn and look towards you.
Father, I have come to save our people. It has been so long, and I'm sorry for the mistakes I have made. But now is not the time to talk about that. For now, there are math goblins that still threaten the city. We must eliminate them, and they're probably residing in my castle.
Your father and mother kind of both walk over to you. Michael, you've returned to us in our hour of great peril. We knew that you had so much important work to do elsewhere, but you're here when we need you. They're not like fully comprehending like the gap in time yet, and your father Algaron looks at you. It's my son. Only you can lead them to victory. Go.
Then let it be done. Oh, onward, my troops! We must retake the town and the castle and the seat.
And with that, the full might of the Miradaran military begins to step forth. And as they begin charging forward in ranks, you hear the commands from the generals and the lieutenants and men that you've personally trained that begin to step down the streets and just kind of like eradicate the math goblins. You see, not just it's not currently just the people of the city. The soldiers of the city that are doing battle, though. You see the citizenry taking up arms against the math goblins. You see bakers and butchers wielding their cooking utensils. You can just see house husbands and wives with brooms that are out batting math goblins away. The full of the people of Miradara now stand behind you as they just brush aside any goblin resistance in your path, leaving the seat of Miradara open for you and your allies.
Okay, there's but only one push left. The leader behind this madness, the one who threatened my entire kingdom, shall pay for their crime. Shall we go, my friends?
Anadoltia finally catches up and says, okay, no, missed all the fun. I'm ready.
Well, there's one more thing we must do, Anadoltia. We must get to the castle.
Before we go, I'm gonna go over and grab a few of the shards from that crystal, just so the stuff.
Just for alchemy purposes, yeah. Sword, you grab a few shards.
Yes, the 3rd level cure wounds on myself.
That's a great idea as well. With that, you guys begin stepping forth into the interior of the seat of Miradara. The castle walls fall easily with the might of your allies behind you, no longer crippled by this time paralysis magic. The orcs of Gurn just kind of ferociously take down enemies, but in the Miradaran way. They're not killing the math goblins, merely subduing, capturing. The remainder of the troops push past and leave you an open quarter, 2 geomancers on either side, as you guys boldly kind of stride forth, go down under the blasts of magic from archmages of Miradara, and you are able to step now into the keep. And Michael, as you stride forward, walking through the great kind of columned halls, the large double doors leading into the throne room, you walk, step, and open the doors, and there, enthroned on the inside of this space, you can see what looks to be a very regularly sized math goblin, but he has removed the throne that you once held here, in which you held court, and replaced it with one of his own that is massive, and is just on every kind of piece of it, it's inscribed with numbers and symbols and just mathematical calculations beyond your reckoning or comprehension, or really the reckoning and comprehension of mere any mortal. This math goblin kind of rises, the throne just slowly rises upwards as it looks over the 4 of you, as you enter into the chamber, and speaks. You have undone the curse that I have placed upon this city, but it is no matter. I will regain control after I've dealt with all of you. And as he says that, he doesn't speak. That just appears in your minds telepathically. You hear those words.
So I'm assuming this is a boss battle.
Anadoltia just thinks back. Wow, this goblin's gone too big for his britches. She doesn't say anything about it, she just thinks it.
Fair enough. You can see one eye kind of looks in your direction, Anadoltia, as you do. I would like you to roll for initiative.
Alright. Ooh!
The name of this boss. Oh dear.
Anadoltia, you're the first to act, as you now face down one of the primes of the Math Goblin army. A prime known only as Hawking. What would you like to do?
Question, the really big throne. How much would that thing weigh?
It would weigh probably a lot.
Is it 1,000 pounds or less?
One thing I'll say about this throne is it looks magic as all hell.
I mean, it doesn't really matter because I still want to know. 1,000 pounds or less.
Yeah, it's less than 1,000 pounds, but you can also tell that there's a lot of enchantments on this throne.
That's all I need to know. It was 1,000 pounds or less. So
All right.
I'm casting telekinesis on it.
Okay. I would, in that case, I would like you to make me a spell casting check with disadvantage.
Disadvantage, okay. Okay, got it. Disadvantage, spell casting. Is this plus, this plus, so 9.
Okay. You go to cast telekinesis on this throne, and as soon as you do, you realize that this throne is already being telekinetically controlled by him, and as you do so, Hawking just kind of and the throne kind of lifts off the ground under his control, Hawking still just kind of seated within it, looking at you.
Is it on legs or anything, or is it just floating?
It's just a floating throne.
I see.
And again, you hear that laughter just sharp pierce through your mind. Hawking's face is kind of mouth is unmoving as he speaks towards you. Anything else on your turn, Anadoltia? Unfortunately, it looks like it would take a Herculean effort to wrench control of the throne from Hawking.
Yeah, that's all for her turn for now.
All right. That's going to bring us to Lance. What do you want to do, Lance?
While we're all together, we're going to start the 3rd level Beacon of Hope, covering all of us.
All right.
Ooh.
And then I will break off stage left and Sanctuary.
Ooh. They were actually just about at the end of your turn going to target you with a harmful spell to try and make you break concentration. So they will try and they'll make a wisdom saving throw against that. Which I believe that does work. They're going to cast a square missile at you at 1st level as a legendary action. Which that is not 9, it is 1 plus 1 plus 16. It is actually it is actually 18 points of damage, and I need you to make me 3 concentration checks, because Magic Missile procs that concentration 3 times. But all of them just require you to basically not crit fail. You're fine. And that's going to bring us next in initiative to Michael.
Indeed. How high is this thing floating up?
Right now,
he's with a melee attack.
He hasn't, it hasn't been his turn yet, so he hasn't been able to, completely fly up into the air. He's only, 5 feet off the ground, just hovering in it a little bit.
Then I shall rush forward with Sergeant O and just be like, if you think you can take my kingdom and strip it away from time for over 50 years, you're not getting away from me that easy. And then I unleash hell upon it's going to be 2 attacks from me and 1 attack from Sarge first.
Okay.
So give me 1 second. I'm assuming those both hit.
All of the, yep, that's going to hit. 14.
And then Sarge's attack. Because I'm level 11, I have 3 attacks a turn now.
14 and 15. All right.
Yeah.
So what's the total damage here?
So is this goblin chaotic by chance?
Unfortunately, this goblin is lawful as all hell.
That's fine, but that is 14 plus 15 plus 19.
So 29 plus 19 is going to be 48 points of damage. They're going to use their theory of relativity.
Oh, they have a reaction?
This isn't a reaction. This is a unique action that Hawking gets, which is the theory of relativity. They're going to roll 10d10. They're just going to roll all of their dice right now. Use the whole pool. That's 53. 48 points of damage. You watch as you are striking into Hawking, they begin moving in parallel with all of your blows. So it's just like as you're swinging, you're just like hitting in air, and you only end up being able to, like, when you impact, the blow is so lessened, it just ends up being a slight hit, as the total damage they take is the difference between their theory of relativity and yours. So you have 48 and they rolled a 53. They only take 5 points of damage from that, but they are out of theory of relativity for the round.
But you forgot to take into account, I have an action surge still.
That you can't do anything about, unfortunately.
So take 3 more strikes from Veridius.
He takes 5 points of damage from that first round. And then 3 more swings. All of those also are going to hit, except he is going to use his actual reaction now and also cast the shield, blocking the second 2. A force field kind of comes up behind him, and it seems like it just emanates from around the chair. The entire chair just begins kind of glowing with this arcane shield as the first one even penetrates through that, and he takes another 13 points of damage. But the next 2 strikes after that first one are unable to breach the shield. Is there anything else on your turn?
Your abomination of magic will not stop you, will not stop me, or protect you for very long. Free.
At the end of his... at the end of your turn, he's going to use another legendary action, and he is going to... he's actually going to use 2 legendary actions to cast a more powerful spell. You watch as he begins just kind of... He, begins moving his hand, and some of the runes on the chair begin to, ignite in different places, and you can now see, as he does that, on the back of the chair, you just see a greater than and then 5 symbol appear over his head on the back of the chair, as he's going to cast greater than 5.
Oh dear.
And that's all for that legendary action. As we move next in initiative to...
And don't you like to bounce or spell that?
Most certainly.
So yeah, bounce or spell, I have to roll the whole...
Yeah, you are going to have to roll the gain control.
22!
Yeah. So you're going to try and bounce that spell back. As they begin kind of casting and channeling the spell, you take control of it using your ring, and that spell just kind of fizzles through the air, and all of a sudden you watch as that symbol on the back of his chair kind of dissipates, and Anadoltia, you now have a strange magical barrier that's kind of surrounding you.
Nice.
Congratulations, you're now immune to probably most of its magic.
That's pretty cool. That's going to bring us to...
Sword.
What do you want to do, Sword?
I'm going to run. And how far away is he? I know he's only 5 feet off the ground, but how far away?
Just 5 feet off the ground right now. He hasn't taken a turn yet.
No, away from us.
In distance, not in height.
Oh, you guys are 30 feet. You can get right up to him if you want to.
Okay, I'm going to cast Bestow Curse.
All right. You're going to make a Wisdom saving throw, I believe?
Yes.
And he's pretty good at these. 24.
Oh, he has advantage?
Yep, he has advantage on saving throws against magic as a geomancer.
Yeah. It fails. And in that case, I'll cast Mass Healing Word on him.
Okay. You go ahead and roll that healing. And everyone...
Actually, no.
And it's maximized.
It's max healing.
Oh, you're right. So rather than that, it would actually be 9, and then for the higher level casting, it would be 4, I believe.
Yep.
So you all regain 13 points of health, and we move next to Hawking Prime's turn. And they're going to look at you, Anadoltia. And they are going to they're going to use a very scary spell on you.
All right, they can try.
That's going to go ahead and be a cubematic orb. They look over at you, and you watch as they begin kind of like channeling this magic, and then they begin channeling it again, and they take it and they kind of split it into 2 points, and they're going to make an attack against. They're going to make a twin attack against Anadoltia and. No, actually, right now they're just going to attack you, Anadoltia. So they're going to use Cubematic Orb on you. Oh, it's the low one.
I was going to ask, like, what is the base level of Cubematic Orb? Okay, never mind, I see it's 6th level.
Yeah.
1, okay.
Yes, I was wrong about you being immune to his magic.
You only take 1 point of force damage.
Yeah, I see that.
So you're okay. But yeah, that's one where he cubes the damage instead of squaring it. That's what Geomancers do. So that gets very scary very quick. As we move...
But unfortunately, you rolled the lowest damage possible.
Yeah, fortunately for you, he rolled... I do need you to make a concentration check, though.
Alright, I mean, that should be easy enough.
Alright, yeah, you still have your gate. And that's going to bring us next initiative. I mean, he wouldn't use anything on you below his gate. He knows how that shit works. That's going to bring us to the top, which is you, Anadoltia. What would you like to do?
So yeah, since I have this nice little gate on me, I'm gonna target that chair again. No, wait, never mind. No, I'm not. I'm just gonna try to hit him with let me find it again. Actually, no, I'm not gonna hit him. I'm gonna wait. Let me read that little bit again on
we'll do it on the next turn if you have to read
I'm just gonna read that little bit again. If it affects spells on me, like if I'm targeting myself.
Why would you target? Okay, I was gonna say you should just attack the thing.
Oh, okay, never mind. Okay,
you're fine.
Okay, so yeah,
you can target yourself with stuff.
All right, so yeah, Anadoltia will pretty much just target herself with using Trickster's Escape to get that freedom of movement.
Okay. Is it all for your turn?
It's all for my turn.
That's going to bring us to Lance. Actually, before that, he's going to use a legendary action, and he's going to throw a cubematic orb at you, Lance. Oh, he's to make a wisdom saving throw against your sanctuary, doesn't he?
And
he
decided not to.
He's going to have to target someone else.
And he's going to actually go ahead and throw a cubematic orb at you, Sword. And that's going to be... it wasn't an advantage. That's a 16 to hit. Oh, he's rolling that 1 again anyway. But that misses at a 16. The orb just fizzles in the ground, and you watch as it's like expanding and changing size as it goes forward. And as it hits you, it's just like really tiny. And that's all for his turn as we move over to that legendary action. As now we move to Lance. What would you like to do, Lance?
Michael, do you want your sword or sovereign to have increased?
Give me the increased power.
As he says that, Ronnie is going up, practically twirl and fly around the length of Miradara as Miradan's burning in holy silver moon. You deal an additional 2d8 plus 1 radiant damage. Your attack hits.
Nice.
Pretty sweet. Anything else on your turn, Lance? Oh, it's just a bonus action. Damn.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let me double check the wording on one spell. Oh, very. The chair considered, right?
the chair itself is not considered. He's kind of like almost him and the chair are almost one creature.
Okay, then. To attempt to dispel magic.
Go ahead and make me. A check. I will tell you that you'll literally need a 20. Just as the crystal, if you tried to dispel magic the crystal, it was a level 10 spell, as is his chair. Because it's basically a part of him as a creature. So. Yeah.
Oh.
Unfortunately not. You go to dispel the magic and he just kind of looks across at you and just... Pathetic attempts.
Scooting by, Ronnie has used his overlay the power of Holy Weapon, but his action is going to be a Flame Strike right on the Hawking.
He's going to make an attack with... so that's going to be 26. He's going to Theory of Relativity that for 5d10. Ooh, 36. He takes 10 points of damage. He rolled high. As he kind of like leans and begins spinning into the flame strike, he will take 10 points of damage. And in this case, we'll say it's all the radiant damage that he takes. Anything else on your turn?
Again, go shooting off to be small.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to have him make the save. Okay, he failed the save. Okay, cool. And that's going to then bring us to
Me.
Michael. What do you want to do, Michael?
Well, it hasn't moved yet so much, so I'm going to make my attacks against it.
Go ahead. Oh, he forgot to move. I forgot to move him. That's my bad. That's my mistake. I'm sorry that I didn't do your intelligence justice, Stephen Hawking, with my own play. 19 and 26 are both going to hit.
So I have to roll an additional 2d8 plus 1 for each of those 2 Verity strikes.
Yes.
With Holy Weapon. So let me roll the damage for those first. 14 and then...
So 30 points of damage. Okay, I can tell you right now, he is just going to use the rest of his relativity on this. So he's going to reduce whatever you have by 35, because you're already over it. So that's 44 points of damage. So he's going to take a total of 9 points of damage from these strikes as you swing in, and his movements, the chair's just kind of like hovering and reducing the strikes, but you're still landing clean hits, Michael, especially with the extra holy power that's been imbued within your blade. Keeping him on his back foot. Anything else on your turn?
Nope. Nothing I can say.
And he's out of relativity as we move to Sword. Actually, at the end of your turn, he's going to use another legendary action, and he's going to throw some... he's going to toss some more missiles at you, Lance, as he makes a wisdom saving throw, not with disadvantage, should have been with advantage. That's a 15. Does that fail? Those are going to go right at you in that case, Max, as he's going to square missile you.
Try me.
It is actually only 6. It's one less than that. 6 points of damage as 3 square missiles fly out and strike into you.
I'll take the hit.
Yeah, not too bad. Very roll dependent, this guy is. And that's going to bring us next to Sword. What do you want to do, Sword?
I was going to cast Mass Cure Wounds again, but nobody really took any damage. In that case, since he's already used all his relativity, I'm going to take a swing at it with a hammer.
Swing away. Yeah, critical failure. You walk up and go to strike down, but to no avail.
And the irony is, it's a math goblin weapon.
Oh yeah, trying to beat him with his own moves. Anything else?
Give it authentic. I will summon my spiritual weapon back.
Okay.
14
and that
hits.
No, 14 unfortunately is going to miss. As we move next initiative to Hawking Prime, And he's going to use the law of thermodynamics on you fools. I need all of you to make me Constitution saving throws.
Or is it? Oh, it's half damage. Okay.
Okay.
I somehow fail that. Yikes!
Oh no.
Everyone but Anadoltia is going to fail. Anadoltia, I do need you to make me a concentration. Actually, Lance as well. You should also make me a concentration check. And that's going to be a total of 51 points of damage, cold damage. As you all of a sudden, they just kind of lower their hand. You see them kind of like touch over onto their throne and just like begin kind of typing something into it. And you watch as like the runes glitter for a moment, and then they bring their hands kind of downward, and the entire room becomes encased in this terrible cold.
How much damage again? I'm trying to do calculations.
51 points of damage. On a successful save, you would have taken 25.
Oh, Sarge has to make that save too. But
Yeah, Sarge does.
However, he has damage resistance to this as well.
Okay, Sarge is going to fail, but he still takes 25 because it's half damage for him.
But he's still up. However, I take the full, 51 points of damage.
So I take 25?
You take 25, and I do need you to make me a concentration check as well.
I did. It came up as 19.
Wasn't that your... Oh, okay, that was your... I thought that was your save.
My save was 23.
Yeah, you're good then.
Lads, we've lost Beacon of Hope.
You've lost Beacon of Hope.
On the bright side, even though we've lost Holy Weapon, Holy Weapon explodes, and base needs to make a Constitution save against DC 6.
Yeah. I don't know this about Holy Weapon.
Holy Weapon still blows up for 48 points of radiant damage and blinds creatures of your choice in the...
That's pretty cool.
Oh, I have a question. What level is law of thermodynamics?
He casts that at 8th level.
Okay, want to make sure.
I'm keeping track of that. Don't you worry.
All right.
That's a success, but he takes some damage still, right? You want to roll that up for me, Lance?
25 points of radiant.
He takes half, right? So 12?
Oh, right, yes.
Very good. And as his relativity's back up, he's actually going to use 2 relativity.
Before he does,
and he takes 4 points of damage. Yeah, what's that?
Anadoltia Misty steps, or Misty escapes towards, just disappears.
Okay, cool.
You appear right on top of the throne.
You appear on top of the throne. His head doesn't move or look towards you, but you do hear, kind of speaking in your mind, "I still see you."
Yes, but you see what I'm about to do.
And at the end of his turn, he is going to fly upwards, provoking an opportunity attack from Sword and Michael, but he is going to get up into the air. Um, 12 is unfortunately going to miss. And 17 is going to hit. Go ahead and roll damage on that. That is going 13. To strike for 13. He's going to use 2 more of this round's relativity on it. Still taking 7 points of damage. Oof, not a very good roll for him there. He's got 6 of that left, and that's going to bring us to the top of initiative, which was, I believe, was it Lance first?
No,
it was Anadoltia first.
So yeah,
Anadoltia, you're on the throne. You're also about 30 feet up in the air in the throne room as he just flies straight up.
That's fine, because Anadoltia is going to use a bonus action to drink the last bit of her Crimson Bovine. And then, as an action, just like she did to the Geomancer, on the object of this throne.
Can you go ahead and start off by making me an attack roll?
Attack roll or like a spell?
You have to make it. You have to hit with an attack.
Yeah, because it's touch. By technicality, yeah, he's right.
Oh yeah, okay. Melee spell attack. All right, so Would that use strength or charisma if it's a spell attack?
It'd be a spell attack, so it's charisma.
Okay, so that'll be. I think how that would end up as. It's just like a charisma.
Consider yourself proficient.
Yeah, 1d20
plus proficiency.
And plus proficiency. Okay, so
you
9.
just like make an Eldritch Blast. It'd be the same thing.
Okay, I'll just do 1d20 plus 9. Actually, it'll be plus 10 if I'm considering the it was considered a check. So
okay. Yes.
It's not a check. It's an attack roll. So
okay.
It should just be a plus 9.
All right, so plus
the
9.
same as you can literally just roll quick your Eldritch Blast. It's the same thing.
Okay, that's going to be 11 because the staff does add plus 2. So.
Yep. Well, that counts.
All right, give me a second and.
Okay, 21.
Boom!
Okay, so you do hit, and now, they are going to. They are going to counterspell that. And they are just going to go ahead. They are just going to go ahead and counterspell at 7th level.
Ooh, unfortunately, I cannot counterspell it back.
Yeah, they just instantly negated your plane shift.
Yeah, I mean, they got to do that. It's the save or die. They don't want to have to make that roll.
I mean, but yeah, I'm still in the air, so I'm actually since I haven't moved yet, I'm gonna move right next to the Hawking.
Okay, and it lasts until the end of your next turn. You say?
Yes.
I apologize. I realize now I should have. I would have had to have counterspelled before.
Of course, that is actually the last of my Crimson Bovine.
Okay, yeah, you've gotten through some tough times with that Crimson Bovine.
Yeah.
That's gonna move us next in initiative to
Lance.
Lance.
Okay, I have a really dumb idea. I'd like to use Divine Intervention to have my 2 lost spells.
All right, best of luck.
If only we were playing highball.
I got for a second really excited, and then I remembered. Yeah, unfortunately, you call to Salune for aid, but for whatever reason, in this moment, she cannot hear you. That is an action, correct?
That's an action.
Do you have a bonus action?
I do indeed. I will healing word myself at 2nd level.
You gain 8 points of health. As we move next to... actually, they're going to use a legendary action, and they are going to throw, I think, a low... They're going to do a lower level Cubematic Orb, and they are going to send that over to... they're going to send that at you, Michael.
Okay.
That's a 21 to hit.
Yikes, that hits me, actually.
You take 27 points of force damage. Not a little bit more scary this time, as you start to realize the power of this technique. They fire the orb down, and as it hits you, you just feel this intense force and pressure come over you.
I am down to 8 hit points.
Oof. You're getting close. I mean, as is Hawking Prime. He's been using a lot of that relativity, but he's still taking scrapes every round. That's all that legendary action. Michael, it's your turn. He's
How high is he up?
He's 30 feet up.
Well, I can't reach him now, so that's with a melee attack, which is unfortunate.
If you wanted to try, you could probably have.
Sarge.
Your boy Sarge toss you up if you wanted to work together.
Yes, I will have him do that. I must get on him. Athletics check. Go.
Yeah, Sarge is helping you, so you'll have advantage on this. But go ahead and make me an athletics check. 24. Sarge looks over at you and just goes, Sarge, Sarge, and like puts his hands out like he's gonna give you the boost. And as you instinctively just run over and step, he uses his immense strength to just toss you up skyward, and you head towards the throne. Right now, you're in the air over Hawking Prime, and you can land on the throne if you want to, but you can also attack him while you're flying up there. Either way,
I can't land and attack him, or
you can do both. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna do my 3 attacks then, I guess. Oh, that not with advantage. Never mind. Just ignore that. 22. Yep, they all hit. And I'm
22,
going to
18,
I'm going
26.
to hit and I'm going to hit with a distracting strike.
He already used his reaction. Shit.
He did.
Yeah.
All right.
Basically, hold up. I'm trying to read something. Basically, distracting strike. The next attack roll against the target by an attacker other than me has. The next attack against me has advantage. Them has advantage.
All right. So
yeah.
what do they make? A saving throw?
No, it's not a saving throw. It says the next attack roll by the against the target by an attacker other than me has advantage if the attack is made before the start of my next turn.
All right.
So, but it does deal an additional D10 or something. Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and roll damage on all of that.
Yeah, there's the D10 bonus.
So 3 damage and then another 45, so 48 points of damage. They have 6 relativity left, but it's unlikely that that'll... Oh, wow, they did really well that time. They've been getting unlucky with it lately. 49,
but he used it all up.
But he's out of it, and it's Sword's turn. As he takes 9 points of damage, dodging and trying to block these attacks as best as possible through kind of the applied momentum. That's going to be all for your turn. You're now just basically standing, straddling one leg on either side of the throne. Sword, you're on the ground. You see Michael and Anadoltia are both hovering in this mid-air battle with Hawking Prime. What do you want to do?
That's Cure Wound.
Cure Wounds. Good old-fashioned Cure Wounds. All right. Lance, you gain 17 points of healing, and we move... I'm sorry, you still have bonus action.
It's literally...
And then move my spiritual weapon and attack.
Go ahead and make me that spiritual weapon attack.
That has advantage, I think.
Oh, yeah, because of
Distracting
technique.
strike. Roll with advantage. That doesn't matter. Wait, roll again if you crit.
No sense in not crit fishing.
Yeah.
23, roll damage on that.
Yep.
18 points of damage. All right, Prime has no relativity for that, and he is looking rough.
18, that was a 7. Oh, never mind.
That's what I said, right?
No, I read it wrong.
Yeah.
It was a 7 plus 11. I messed up.
Yeah, all good. As we move to the top of the initiative, which is you again, Anadoltia, he's looking rough.
Okay, so Anadoltia's going to do something a bit out of her character.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I skipped his turn. It's his turn. Never mind. He's got stuff to do, and he needs to do something right now because he is in a rough spot. He is going... He's just gonna do this at 9th level because he needs to. Anadoltia, I just because he's out of other spell slots. Anadoltia, I need you to make me a charisma saving throw.
Is this a spell?
It is a spell.
I'm absorbing it.
Oh shit! Yeah, he doesn't know you can do that. He kind of reaches out towards you and begins to channel some type of effect towards you. And as you do so, as he does so, you kind of hold the staff in front of it, and a technique that he hasn't seen before. You kind of just the spell just catches into the staff, and you absorb the spell, and you regain 9 charges.
Yep. So yeah, Anadoltia's like just will smirk at him the best a dog can.
Actually, Anadoltia, I apologize. It's a spell that targets only you, and this spell can target more than one of you.
Oh, okay.
So unfortunately, you can try and counterspell it if you want, but
I don't have any way to counterspell.
Oh, you're all out of spell slots in that regard. Yeah, I apologize. So you won't be able to do this. So I do need... Yeah, I do need you to make a charisma save, and I also am going to need... Actually, Lance, I need to make a wisdom. Oh wait, Lance, do you still have Sanctuary? You haven't done anything harmful, have you?
No, he got hit. No, he got hit by that thermodynamics thing, right?
He doesn't target you, so everyone but Lance, I need to make a charisma saving throw.
Alright, I can do that. Plus I have advantage because of the staff. 23.
Does it say charm or fear effect?
It is unfortunately not.
Okay.
But it is a pretty powerful effect. Do you have... I don't know if you have something that lets you re-roll, but now would probably be the time, Michael.
Oh yes, I have Indomitable.
Yes, I knew you had something like that.
And it fails.
Unfortunately not. He holds out and begins just... Numbers appear in the space around you. And all of a sudden, Sword and Michael both just blink out of existence as the two of them are currently banished.
For how long?
Until his concentration is broken.
Oh,
Or a minute.
Okay, yeah, it's a level 9, so...
But that's all for his turn. Anadoltia, the turn's yours.
As I was trying to say earlier, I'm gonna do something a bit unorthodox. She's gonna take her staff, like make it parallel, like kind of like perpendicular to her, and just charge and try to push Hawken off the throne.
Yeah, you found his weak point. Go ahead and make me a contest. This is just an athletics shove check. Just trying to shove him.
Yeah. So just strength.
Yep.
Or athletics. Yeah. Okay.
Athletics. He's going to contest it with his dexterity, which he fails. You just get up behind Hawking, and you find again his weak points. He's not a very strong goblin, and you just kind of shove him off the back of the chair. Hawking Prime's gonna fall. Yeah, that's like I said. That's his weak point.
Does that kill his concentration by chance?
It does not, unfortunately.
Darn.
He collapses down on the ground, taking 11 points of damage. He can't relativity it because he's not in his chair right now. And that's going to be all for your turn, I assume?
Let me check if I have anything at this bonus. From what I can tell, yes, that is the end of my turn.
At the end of your turn, he's going to use a legendary action to move his chair down to him and have his chair pick him back up. He's just on the ground, but he's in his chair again.
I'm still on the chair with the staff ready, like to push him back off.
That's going to bring us next initiative. It would be... Actually, no, it's just Lance.
Okay, let's start this off. We need to get the king back. He's looking pretty rough.
Looking pretty beat.
The chair and grab him by the colors of his robes, and I'll just stare into his eyes very and bring back the king. And then I'll very dramatically shake my head, loosening my hair and beard very dramatically as he is overcome with 120 points of beard.
I mean, he's blinded. And I think in this instance, I mean, he can't be blinded because he has true sight. But the way I'm gonna rule this happens is as, all of, the beard just kind of sprays out and spreads around the space, I am going to have him make a concentration check from it at disadvantage because he literally just has 5 million colors from your beard in his face, which he would have failed without disadvantage. He rolls a 4, and Michael and Sword, you both pop back into reality. At the end of your turn, he's going to reach out and throw...
Before the end of my turn.
Oh, I'm sorry, you have a bonus action. I apologize.
I do have a bonus. He's got the Warlock and the Cleric. And the King is nearby, so naturally, as a bonus, once again, ignite the flames of Miradara.
Yep.
You bring back the Holy Weapon. Legendary action at the end of your turn. He's going to use his last one of these. 14 misses you, Lance, as he... the turn passes to you, Michael, and the chair right now is completely floor-bound, so he cannot relativity this. He doesn't have any movement.
Perfect.
The turn's yours.
I'm going to have Sarge stay back for this one because I'm about to unleash some hell on this chair.
Nothing he can do about any of that, even with shield. Go ahead and roll damage. Oh no. I don't think that Hawking Prime is going to make it through this round.
Those are all the Holy Weapon bonus damages.
Yeah. Would you like to describe your finishing blow on Hawking Prime?
So basically, I start with the lower slash, and then the second slash I get up to his middle, and then I make one big leap over the top, and in one holy slash, I completely cut a massive chunk off of the chair, and it just disintegrates into pieces.
And as you do so, you are right. It disintegrates. Just everything kind of falls to ash. And for a brief time, you can hear Hawking kind of calling out to you, This isn't... My lord! And then he's just silent as he disintegrates, gone. And before you now, the seat of Miradara is empty. And in the moments after, you can hear outside the sounds of battle as your troops have finished kind of routing what's left of the math goblins there. And you have successfully defeated the Calculord. And before long, your mother and father at the helm, you see the full force of Miradara enter into the throne room and see you standing over the pile of just ash and dust that was Hawking Prime. And all eyes fall upon you as there is silence for a moment here, Michael.
So, we've won. I've done it. Miradara is now back in the hands of the people and me, as it should be.
And as you kind of deliver the news of your victory, you just begin to hear an overwhelming, rousing, just sort of begin to kind of loosen from the mouths of the warriors, and echoing further on into the city, the mithril bells begin to chime again. This time, not heralding an invasion, but your success. As Michael Verity, you stand once more, the king of Miradara, the king of order, and you have retaken your city.
Indeed. And with that, I'm grateful. And I want to thank you, Mother and Father, for doing your best to keep my kingdom safe while I was gone. And as for Anadoltia, Lance, Sword, do me a favor. Return to Roger and tell him the good news. I am going to stay behind. I have business I must return to, for this kingdom needs me now.
Well, we don't really have to leave because I can just do this, and she just activates the ability of her conveyor belt and just contacts Roger that way.
You send Roger the message that you'll return, while Michael, you stay behind here at your home to rebuild and to see the Kingdom of Miradara begin to prosper once more, and to stand as a beacon against the evils that have taken over the lands of DnDTime.
Yes, and with that, we now have a military fighting force that can potentially rival that of those of the great evils. Now we shall strike them where it hurts most.
And with that, you have successfully completed this adventure. You've reclaimed Miradara. Each of you gain 0 points of experience. Each of you gain 0 Bartholomew bucks. And congratulations on your victory. Very well done, y'all.
We get some magic crystals out of it, so it's not all bad.
You get some magic crystals. That's for certain. Eventually, you work your way back to the moon base. But that's gonna do it for us. Great work, y'all.
Indeed, it was a great adventure, and I'm glad it went well.
And of course, Anadoltia does have some info from that plane shift she did earlier.
Yeah, needs to go back and talk to some people about that, I imagine.
Yeah,
because that is troubling to say the least. I think that's not just your victory here, but also it's gonna wrap up the stream. Jeremy, what's going on, dude?
We're on the outro screen.
The outro screen. I'm gonna bring us there. I mean, like, bring us into the room in which we talk in the outro screen. We did it.
Hi, everybody. That was an exciting adventure.
Yeah, you guys, they won. They beat the math.
Yeah, for a minute, I was like, wait a minute. I hope that thermodynamics didn't just kill everyone.
I thought they were all gonna die, but they made it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, 8th level cones of cold. I mean, theory of thermodynamics, very scary.
You can tell that the adventurers in Bartholomew's shop are getting powerful when 8th level cone of cold does not end the battle. Yeah, no one died to that, so
which is kind of wild.
Yeah, actually, for sure. I thought that someone would go down with that, but they did not.
But either way, yeah, thanks everyone for playing. Thank you everyone for watching and for hanging out and being part of the show. We had 2 really fun games tonight, and we got more, of course, this weekend. Pete, what do we got? What do we got this weekend?
Tune in on Sunday for Fantasy Labs. It's a show where we discuss and review and just generally we do all kinds of stuff that all involves homebrew content for 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. It is a lot of fun, and I would really love to see you there. That show starts at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. So long as we're talking time zones. And that's it. Tune into Fantasy Labs on Sunday.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Pete, what's the homework we're looking at this week?
The homework this week is a fun one. We're doing some items inspired by the autumn season. That's it. We're doing items inspired by the autumn season. I'm really excited to see what folks came up with. I've looked at a couple of them already. Just like I didn't read them, but I know there's some really cool ones already. There was a samurai set that Frosty Pirate made that looked really cool. I
did the absolute last. I did the worst thing, the thing that we don't want anyone to do. I did it, Pete. I'm sorry.
Did you make
I made an overly complicated cursed magic item.
Oh no. Well,
I love it though. Anyway. Yeah, thanks for hanging out. We're on again next Friday for more DnDTime shenanigans. You can learn all about our schedule each week and what we do here by joining our Discord. Links available on our website, dndtime.stream, which you should visit if you haven't before. And I think that's it.
Bonanza.
Oh my goodness gracious! I should pull the Bonanza. You're right, Pete. Our winner this evening of Bartholomew's Bonanza is Purple
Neko-chan.
Congrats, Purple.
Congratulations. I think it's the second time already and not that long that they've been hanging out.
Yeah, and it's funny, they called it in the chat. They were like, so, if I win, maybe put it on this character? Well, I know you're not here right now, Purple, but
that's funny.
They could
feel it.
The way Bartholomew Bucks work, it's by character, not by player. So you don't have to worry. It's
Or by player, not by character, you mean?
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
So it's just $300.
They could just feel the wind tonight.
I mean, sometimes you know.
Hashtag rigged. Yeah, there it is. And I got nothing else. Jeremy, you got anything?
I got one thing, Pete.
I have one. Actually, I do too.
Huge shout out to Mr. Plunderloot.
Mr. Plunder.
And I kid you not, 30 months. It's mind shattering to me that we've been streaming for 30 months. But that's also it's 30 months since we've been able to get subscribers. Yeah.
So no longer, Jeremy, longer than that.
But thank you so much, Plunder, and thanks for everyone who hang out and have been hanging out and watching the show. We really appreciate it. Yeah, it's just makes us feel good, about what we're doing here. So,
yeah, it's great to have you all. We really appreciate the support, especially staying up, for me at least, and other people from around where I am, very late, staying up very late to hang out. So all my love to all of you. Jeremy, you want to go raid Maddie? We never get out.
I don't know how to. I still don't know how.
I know how to do this.
All right, Pete, you deal with that. We're gonna jump over to the channel twitch.tv/MaddieMorgs, who's a great friend of the stream and other awesome Dungeons and Dragons and other tabletop RPG content creator. I think this week he's playing Baldur's Gate though, which is super exciting. I've never played that game, and I might now. I've been thinking about it for a while. Anyway, Pete. I'm Jeremy.
Oh, I did it bad, Jeremy. I thought I knew how to do it, but I don't.
Oh, that's not how it works.
Oh,
Pete, you've failed.
Wait, let me try one more time. I'm Pete.
Right. I'm Jeremy.
And this is Pete and Jeremy's DnDTime. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Hey there, folks. Do you know what time it is? Pete and Jeremy's DnDTime. Pete and Jeremy's DnD. Pete and Jeremy's DnDTime. Pete and Jeremy's DnD. Pete and Jeremy, you know we're gonna have some fun when we are away Dungeons and Dragons. Pete and Jeremy's DnDTime. When we are away Dungeons and Dragons. Pete and Jeremy's DnDTime. Come and have some fun, play DnD. Pete and Jeremy's DnDTime. Come play some DnD with me. Pete and Jeremy's DnDTime. So many fun things to do. Pete and Jeremy's DnDTime. This is our invitation to you. Pete and Jeremy's DnDTime. Pete and Jeremy's DnD. Pete and Jeremy's DnDTime. Pete and Jeremy's DnD.